tonight, 23-year-old Tyler Thornburg making the biggest start of his life from Double-A to the show. His major league debut coming up next. And on a warm, breezy night in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Brewers baseball is back on the air. It is the Brewers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Big crowd filing in here across the Hank Aaron Bridge. It is game 2 of this 3-game series for the Blue Jays, and we'll have a Major League debut here tonight. Hi, everybody. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us from Miller Park. Looking forward to this matchup. We've heard a lot about Tyler Thornburg. We've seen him during the spring rock, and he's going to get his chance tonight. Might be only one start, but you got to wonder what's going through his mind right now.
All the way up from Double-A last year around this time, he was pitching in the Midwest League All-Star game. Talk about a guy that has got to be going through his mind. Thornburg in 3 minor league seasons, 19-7. That was 46 starts. He's got all the ability in the world. He's got 2 great pitches, fastball, changeup. The big key for Thornburg today is going to be him being able to manage his emotions. You know what must be going through his mind. His numbers down in the minor leagues in Huntsville right now, 8-1, a 3.00 earned run average in 75 innings. You can see the strikeouts, 71 of them. He was slated to pitch in the Southern League All-Star game, was going to go to AAA. None of that's going to happen. He's going to be pitching here at Miller Park tonight.
Filling in for the injured Sean Markham. We'll have more on the Markham story as we continue through our broadcast tonight. Thornburg hoping for some offensive support and a couple of guys who are heating up as the thermometer rises. Ricky Weeks and Aramis Ramirez. We'll talk about the 2 sluggers and the summer sizzle when we continue on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. Roof is open tonight. We're just about ready for the game's first pitch. Ricky Weeks, he has 7 hits in his last 3 games. Last night against the Blue Jays, had a couple of hits, drove in a pair of runs. Aramis Ramirez had the decisive home run, 3 for 3 last night. He has been red hot over the last 3 weeks. And we welcome you back from Miller Park. The Brewers winning 7-6 last night. Now they go for their 2nd win in a row against the Blue Jays. Rock Reinbraun is the focal point of this offense, no question about it. But the supporting cast has to step it up. Ramirez has done that lately, and Ricky Weeks over the last few games has been very good.
Yeah, Ron Rennick is trying to find a combination behind Ryan Braun to get something going. The games that Ramirez missed with that quad problem might have been the best thing that happened to him, because since that time he's really been swinging about, well, actually his last 20 games, hitting about 350, starting to drive the baseball. More importantly, very patient at the plate, driving the ball to the opposite field. And it's not just Aramis Ramirez with Corey Hart behind him. You've got Ricky Weeks showing signs of life now. It's been a long struggle for Ricky all season long. He has been patient at the plate, but now the hits are starting to come. He's been banging the baseball pretty well. 7 for 14 last 3 games for Ricky. They really need him to get going in the second half of the season.
And here we are in late June. Tyler Thornburg looking for some run support tonight. He's ready to make his big league debut. Thornburg against the Toronto Blue Jays. Game 2 coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Thornburg, he's not very big, but he has big stuff. Got a fastball in the mid to upper 90s. A great changeup, a curveball, as Rock mentioned, and we are all anxious to see it pitch in a Major League regular season. Saw a little bit of him this spring. He leads the Brewers out onto the field. He'll be matching up against the heavy-hitting Toronto Blue Jays, managed by John Farrell, former Red Sox pitching coach during their World Championship season. And here are the Blue Jays batting order today. Brett Laurie leads off, Colby Rasmus, then Jose Bautista, same top 3. Middle of the order, a bit of a change here with Encarnacion hitting cleanup. Kelly Johnson making his first start with Yudel Escobar at short. And then Rajay Davis, J.P. Arancibia, and tonight's Blue Jays pitcher, Jesse Chavez. The numbers for Thornburg in Double-A Huntsville. His last start was on June 9th, a game that he was actually ejected from after he threw at a hitter. That's not all bad. That was his first loss of the season. He is 8-1, a 3.00 earned run average. Rocky kept his walks and hits per inning pitched down just a little over 1. And a guy that held opponents to just a .212 batting average down there.
Yeah, he's very aggressive, very confident. 19-7 in 3 years in the minor leagues for Milwaukee. 235 innings pitched and 269 strikeouts for Tyler Thornburg. He's got great stuff.
Now, Ron Renicky said imperative that Thornburg able to settle down as he gets on the mound, and that's the case with every pitcher. As Brett Laurie starts the game with a hit. Yesterday it was a homer. A single here tonight. Behind Thornburg, it's Braun, Gomez, and Aoki. Around the horn, Ramirez, Masonette, Weeks, and Hart. Same infield from last night. And Martin Maldonado will catch Tyler Thornburg. Alan Porter calling the balls and strikes tonight. Kerwin Danley is the crew chief. Paul Nart and Doug Eddings join him on the bases.
When you talk about settling down, what that means is get a good start. You know, have a nice first inning, second inning fairly smooth. And what the Blue Jays want to do is put this guy on the defensive and get something going, perhaps to rattle him a little bit. It's going to be imperative for Martin Maldonado to take control tonight, have him pitch his game, and settle him down.
Colby Rasmus hitting .256 for the season, has 10 home runs and 33 driven in. With a speedster and Laurie at first base as Rasmus sends that one down the right field line on a hooking foul. Got out ahead of it. And a count, no balls and 2 strikes on the former Cardinal. Well, it is very rare, at least in Brewers franchise history, that a pitcher makes the jump from Double-A to the major leagues, especially making his first major league start. Thornburg just drafted in 2010. He was a 3rd rounder that year. And that's his signature pitch. He has a great changeup. He's very Lincecum-like in his deception.
Acts a lot like a split-fingered fastball, but it's not. It's a changeup, a circle change that goes away from a lefty.
And he counters that changeup with a pretty big fastball. Boy, that didn't miss by much.
There's another one.
This time last year, Tyler Thornburg was in Appleton, Wisconsin, playing for the Timber Rattlers in the Midwest League.
And just a bit off the outside corner, up in the strike zone.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and a check on Laurie at first. Brad Laurie had a steal yesterday. He leads the major leagues in caught stealing. He's been caught 8 times. Laurie has 9 stolen bases for the season. And we'll see if he's on the move here. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Rasmus. Bouncing ball. Thornburg goes back to the mound. Or back to the second. 1. And to first for a double play. That's a way to start your big league career, on a comebacker to the mound. It goes 1-6-3. 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat.
Now getting the fastball up in the zone, and Colby Rasmus, the one hopper right back at him. That ought to calm him down a little bit. And a good throw to Masonette. He finishes the double play. The Brewers have been turning an awful lot of double plays lately.
Thornburg is an exceptional athlete. Showed a little bit of that with that double play. He was a 2-way player in college at Charleston Southern. He's actually had more notoriety for his outfield play. Some of the great catches that he had during his college career. Played outfield, he DH'd, and he pitched. And he is going to get through the first big league inning of his life as Jose Bautista pops up. And Tyler Thornburg's career is off and running. catcher here tonight, trying to get Maldonado to help Thornburg through his first major league start, and hoping for some offense once again this evening. 7 runs on 13 hits last night for the Brew Crew. You see the starting lineup brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Only change in there, Maldonado doing the catching as opposed to George Kataras. There's Jesse Chavez. He's coming up from AAA Las Vegas. Remember, the Blue Jays lost 3 starters last week, 3 starters in a 4-day span. Chavez, a former Pirate, 7-2 down in AAA, and he gets the call tonight against the Brewers as Aoki takes a strike.
Yeah, 2 guys making their first ever major league start. Chavez has spent a lot of time with a number of different teams working out of the bullpen. This time he's getting an opportunity with Toronto. Brewer fans remember him most as a member of the Pirates.
And one of the more iconic moments in Miller Park history, the Ryan Braun grand slam home run in 2008 in the heat of a pennant race. That was against Jesse Chavez. Nori Aoki comes in batting .284. Has 3 homers, 12 runs batted in. He was 1 for 5 last night. His hit was a bunt single on a safety squeeze. He's done a nice job at the top of the order. It's going to take a few more games, maybe a few more weeks of success, but with Ricky Weeks starting to swing the bat a little bit, I think ideally Renicky would like to have Weeks at the top to bring that power threat. But in the meantime, Aoki has filled in nicely as he strikes out here. Chavez pulls the string on him, and a strikeout to get his night started. Rajay Davis, Colby Rasmus, Jose Bautista in the outfield. Ben Laurie, Yunel Escobar, Kelly Johnson, and Edwin Encarnacion, the Blue Jays infield, with J.P. Arancibia catching Jesse Chavez. Here's Carlos Gomez. Gomez at .266 this year, has a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. Still trying to get himself on track after he spent a couple of weeks on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. He was really swinging the bat well before that injury, but it has been a struggle since.
I'm just trying to find, as you mentioned, some continuity in this batting order for Ron Renicky. Johnny Naron very pleased with the approach of his guys last night. Able to post 7 runs on the board.
Gomez shows a good eye. He was out earlier today. A number of players were, for early batting practice. This is a round of BP prior to the regular batting practice. And one of the elements that Gomez and Ricky Weeks, Cody Ransom, one of the things they were working on was trying to drive the ball to the opposite field. More of that up the middle approach that you talk about so often, Ron.
Waiting on the baseball, and that's what's got Ricky going right now. He's shooting the ball up the middle. Ramirez the same thing.
And a swing and a miss. So Chavez picks up a couple of strikeouts to start against the Brew Crew. And that'll bring up Ryan Braun. Boy, he's been on a great run lately. He's got a 13-game hitting streak going overall. Getting .333 during the streak. He's found his home run stroke as well. 5 home runs in the last 13 games. And 19 home runs total.
And just what you're talking about, what Johnny Naron was talking about, hitting the ball to the opposite field. That's what Ryan's been doing so well. Line to line with power.
Braun still the National League leader in home runs to start play today, tied with Carlos Beltran of the Cardinals. And Ryan, with an RBI yesterday, is tied for 3rd in that category, trailing Andre Ethier, who leads the league with 55. Braun has 48. Longest hit streaks currently. There's Braun and Beltran once again. Those two have been connected in a number of categories.
And one of the things that Ryan's been doing such a good job of lately, not only swinging the bat well, but patience at the plate, drawing his walks. His on base percentage is near .400. If they're not throwing him strikes, a lot of times he's been able to draw his walks.
2 balls and a strike on Braun, and he lays off. That was a hanging slider that Ryan Braun hit off Jesse Chavez in the pennant race of 2008. And he goes to the fastball.
And Chavez has been getting it up there pretty good in the first inning, 92 to 94. He's at good location. He's thrown some curveballs in this inning, something he didn't do working out of the bullpen. So he's added another pitch.
See what he has in mind. 3-2. And Braun shoots one into left field, a base hit. Amazing that he can pull that pitch and hit it so hard. A 2-out single for Ryan Braun. A man on for Aramis Ramirez. Ramirez last night, he didn't get to enjoy it right off the bat, but he homered. It was originally called a foul ball, but a reviewable play. And for the first time in Miller Park history, it was overturned and turned into a home run. Ramirez would prove to be the game winner. 3 for 3 last night after much deliberation. 7-6 the final. The Blue Jays had come all the way back, trailing 6-1 at one point, to tie the game on the Jose Bautista homer.
Yeah,
in the very next inning, Ramirez went deep.
You really never have enough runs against the Toronto Blue Jays. They can swing the bats. Second most home runs in all of baseball, behind the New York Yankees, and Jose Bautista, the big stick in their lineup.
Ramirez last night went 3 for 3, his first 3-hit game of the season, and has been on a pretty good stretch here, significant stretch where he's hitting .333 in his last 22 games. He started at .218 with a batting average through his first 38 games, but those 3 hits last night only extended a very good run.
And the amazing thing for Ramirez, doing it lately without being able to run all that well, so he's really not getting any infield hits. And perhaps those days that he missed with that quad problem, he's able to sit back and take a look at things, maybe think through what's been going on, and since that time he's really been swinging the bat well.
You just wonder if there's anything Ramirez could do differently. It's been such a pattern for him in his career, throughout his career, to get off to a slow start. There's a slow roller. Ramirez not running well. Escobar bare hands and throws him out. And the inning is over. And we'll see if Ramirez can shake that one off. Had to push it a little bit more than he wanted with that quad injury.
Sideline the story tonight, 23-year-old right-hander Tyler Thornburg, who's replacing Sean Markham in the Brewers rotation. Markham sidelined with elbow stiffness. Now, Thornburg was supposed to pitch tonight in the AA Southern League All-Star game in Kodak, Tennessee. Those plans changed. Markham, his status is unknown right now. He's going to test his arm and play catch. He is, however, available for post-game shaving cream pie duty if the situation arises. In order to clear a spot for Thornburg on the 40-man roster and make him active, guys, the Brewers designated Brooks Conrad for assignment. And as of right now, it looks like there's a chance that Conrad may end up playing in AAA Nashville.
And, of course, it'll be a few days lag time. Conrad certainly hopes to get a chance to play in the big leagues. But if nobody picks him up, then Conrad would have that option to go to AAA Nashville. We saw Brooks today taking batting practice. As Encarnacion skies one to right, Aoki is there for the out.
Man, too bad Brooks Conrad just couldn't get things together here in Milwaukee, because he was really swinging the bat well down in the minor leagues. Just one of those things you just can't really put your finger on. And yeah, you see the numbers. He did have a stretch where he had a couple of home runs, 3 for 40, 6 RBIs, and to make room for Thornburg, it was Brooks Conrad to go down, and the Brewers playing a bit short on their bench tonight.
Sean Markham not placed on the DL as Kelly Johnson lines one to Aoki, who fights with the ribbon board to make that play. That can give outfielders fits at times if it's just in the right spot on a line drive, and that one apparently was.
Yeah, plus those glass panels above the third deck, you never know. All that stuff coming into play. You really can't tell right here. It doesn't look like there's much sun, but looking into all that can be tough. Aoki able to stay with it and haul it in.
Had it all the way, Rock.
He saw it long enough.
2 gone, 2 quick ones, and it's Yunel Escobar. Now Thornburg his contract had to be purchased. He was not on the Brewers 40-man roster, and that's why they had to make room with Brooks Conrad. And Sean Markham not on the DL, as Drew mentioned, hoping to test that elbow in the next couple of days and see how it is. And that's a good sign, and hopefully it's nothing too serious with Markham. Unlike the Blue Jays, who got terrible news yesterday, one of their starters, Kyle Drabeck, former teammate of Markham's, he went out with an elbow injury, and it was revealed that he has a tear in his ligament in his elbow. He's going to require Tommy John surgery. 1-2. Thornburg against Escobar. And the count evens at 2-2.
Ran that one up there at 95 miles an hour. He started him out with a nice slow curveball. He's got 2 different curveballs. That slow flip me up for a strike, and then the power curveball for the swing and the miss. 2-2. And Escobar right off the end of the bat on a changeup. Ramirez makes the play. 3 up, 3 down, and 2 scoreless in the books. Corey Hart, he'll lead off when we come back. 14 home runs on the year. He'll get his turn when we continue.
No score, bottom of the second inning, and Corey Hart ready to lead off. Jesse Chavez with a scoreless first. He did give up a hit to Ryan Braun, who extends his hitting streak to 14 games. But a scoreless first for Chavez, facing Corey Hart, Ricky Weeks, and Martin Maldonado. So far so good for Tyler Thornburg. 2 scoreless in the books in his big league debut. I suppose, Rock, there's a little bit of pressure on the Brewers offensively. They know what happens in a major league debut, especially for a starting pitcher. They'd love to be able to support him with some runs here and set him at ease as much as they can.
Yeah, same thing, same pressure that the Toronto Blue Jays offense is feeling tonight. One thing that's impressive about Tyler Thornburg, his ability to throw the curveball, the changeup for strikes, and get outs with it. You would think a young kid all ramped up and oiled up in his first major league start. The off-speed pitches would be the challenge.
Corey Hart takes a called strike 3. That is the 3rd punch out already for Jesse Chavez. Well, a reminder, this July, don't miss the biggest event of the summer. Baseball's greatest stars battle for home field advantage in the Fall Classic. The road to the World Series begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game Tuesday, July 10th. That'll be at 6:30 p.m. Central on Fox. Here's the latest results from the All-Star ballots. Ryan Braun slipped to 4th. So we got to get you out there and get voting. You can vote online as many as 25 times. Trying to get Braun there as a starter. It would be his 5th consecutive All-Star appearance. You can vote 25 times per email account, and as we always say, if everybody out there listening to our voice, if they vote the maximum amount, then it's a guarantee that Braun will be an All-Star starter.
And he should be. Having that kind of a year, numbers actually better than they were a year ago. Get out and vote. Maybe I should tweet that.
Now that you're on Twitter, Rock, you have that ability.
Yeah. Done.
Well, Ricky Weeks, he was an All-Star last year. It has been a dismal season for him, but he's showing signs of life now. Has 7 hits in his last 14 at-bats. That covers the last 3 games. Drove in 2 big runs early last night. A 2-out, 2 RBI single, putting the Brewers on top. That came in the bottom of the 1st inning. Jesse Chavez getting a chance to start in the major leagues here tonight. Got to be impressed with his numbers in AAA Las Vegas as he strikes out Ricky Weeks. I don't know, Rock, has he added a little cut fastball? I mean, it's something different than when we saw him with the Pirates.
He's certainly got better command. He's throwing about 94. He's got good command inside. And talking to the folks around this Blue Jay club, they say he's got a good curveball. He's thrown a couple of those. He'll throw a slider. Everybody remembers the slider when he was working out of the bullpen, and he'll throw a changeup. So you have to do that as a starter. Didn't have to do that as a relief pitcher.
But a couple of inside corner fastballs that have surprised the Brewers, Hart and Ricky Weeks. And he starts Martin Maldonado with a good hook.
Yeah, guys, remember Chavez as a slider pitcher. He hasn't really thrown too many of those tonight. Maybe looking for those.
Now, this is going to be one of those games where the game plan is constantly adjusting as these hitters get used to these pitchers for the first time. Martin Maldonado back in the starting lineup tonight. He finished the game last night, caught the 8th and the 9th. Axford saved it last night. The Axman with number 12.
Yep, a 3-up, 3-down save for John Axford.
Another breaking ball, and it's beat into the ground. Laurie will make the play. Jesse Chavez, a tidy 3-up, 3-down second inning. Brewers organization. Tyler Thornburg, he's off to a good start. And we figured it'd be a great night to hear from Doug Melvin. We try to catch up with the Brewers general manager at least once a homestand. It's a quick homestand. But Tyler Thornburg is here making the jump from Double-A to the big leagues, and that is a significant jump for a lot of pitchers.
Yeah, we've talked about it before with players that, you know, I'm a big believer you spend a lot of time in A-ball. That once you get to Double-A and Triple-A, that jump can happen a lot quicker. If you look at the success of some players, talking about Trumbo with the Angels the other day, spent 3 years in A-ball, and you can make that jump. Once you're to Double-A and Triple-A, you're close enough, one phone call away, and Tyler took advantage of having a good year in Huntsville, and here he is today. He was in college playing center field a few years ago and on a big league mound today.
Last year he was in the Midwest League All-Star game, and here he is at Miller Park. What impresses you the most from what you've seen so far from him?
Well, I like the pace that he pitches. I like he gets the ball, he throws it. You know, he's got good velocity. He'll go right after the hitters. He doesn't waste a lot of time. He's aggressive and poised. Got a great changeup, and I think he's going to hold his own. You know, in spring training, probably didn't pitch as well as he'd like to have, but it was his first spring training, and sometimes that happens with young guys until they get a level of comfort.
I would guess there's no real restrictions on him. He's been starting, and it's pretty much his turn. And are there any tonight?
Not that I know of. As long as he puts zeros up there, that's
the only restriction,
that's
right?
the only one. Yeah.
The Toronto Bats will be his restriction tonight. Well, it looks good early. He's had 2 scoreless innings. Thornburg has given up 1 hit, but immediately turned to double play, and there is a strikeout. That is his first big league K. It comes against Rajay Davis for the first out of the 3rd inning.
You know, Doug, one of the things that you look at with his numbers, he's not afraid to throw the ball over the plate, and he continues to do that. You know, here tonight, and this is a pretty powerful Toronto lineup. Not afraid of contact, is he?
No, he's not. And he's got a little bit of Lincecum in him. If you look at the arched back and how he gets back in his delivery, and I know scouts have said that when they've given him the reports, but got a little bit of that in him. And he's not real big, and not real physical, but he's a very good athlete. He played center field in college. You can go on YouTube. There's some YouTube clips of him making a great catch, jumping over a wall, making a catch. So a good athlete, and that's very helpful too when you're on the mound. You saw him trying to double play or start the double play in the 1st inning.
Now, that was recent as well. He was in college in 2010. He was a 3rd rounder that year, and from a guy who looks at the draft, looks at prospects and amateur players, do you think his size had anything to do with him dropping to the 3rd round, or did he play up to the 3rd round because of what he may have shown before the draft?
Yeah, I don't think people saw him pitching as much as what he was capable of doing. We brought him in here in our June draft workout, and we saw him hands-on just 3 days before the draft. So being able to see him, he was lighting up the gun on that particular day. He was throwing 94, 95 at that time, and real aggressive. So Lee Tunnell and the pitching coordinator and pitching staff in the minor leagues have done a good job to get consistent with his delivery and be able to repeat his delivery, and that's going to help him throw more strikes. So I think probably being a two-way player too sometimes, and size a lot of times when you get into that draft room, they do look for that big physical 6'2" to 6'4" type of guys. I'm a believer too. Sometimes you can be too big to be a good pitcher.
Well, there's pitching coach Rick Kranitz, and he had Thornburg and Maldonado early today, about 2:30 as a matter of fact. They were in a skull session as J.P. Arancibia singles to center field, a base hit with 1 away.
Well, Doug, he is here. Thornburg is here because Sean Markham has a bit of an elbow issue. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, he's tried to throw the other day, and there was some tightness, and he had a little bit of discomfort. And right around this time of the year, sometimes you'll get that with starting pitchers. Right now, we don't consider it serious, but we don't know. We'll continue to do further tests. So it was best just to shut him down, and he was on board with that at this particular time. So it's a grind over the course of a season, and Sean usually has a period of time where maybe he does miss a start or whatever. So we thought it better to do that now, and it turned out that Tyler's turn up was time to pitch was right now too. So this was a good transition for Tyler to get a chance here.
Thornburg with a runner at first. Chavez, the pitcher, trying to bunt, and bunts it foul in the seats. 0-2 the count. On the injury front as well, and one of the reasons this may be a one-and-done start for Thornburg is because you're finally starting to get healthy a little bit. You've got 3 players on rehab assignments right now, and maybe the most significant on the pitching side is Marco Estrada. What has his progress been like, and when could we expect him in the big leagues once again?
Well, we think Marco's going to have one more start, and then we'll determine whether it's necessary for the 3rd start, and it may determine on the situation up here. But yeah, he's close. He's getting very close. Coming back. Travis Ishikawa, Cesar Asturis also are playing down in Nashville. So I think by next week we're obviously going to probably have those guys back, and we'll have to make a few roster moves. And we had to designate Brooks Conrad last night for assignment, and that Brooks worked out with the club here, so we designated him for assignment. But we will be getting a little bit healthy. I'm really pleased with how some of the guys have filled in. Edwin Masonette has done a great job filling in. Maldonado's done a great job for LaCroix filling in. Fires stepped in for Estrada. I can't say there's anybody that I'm disappointed. And Corey Hart looks more comfortable every day at first base, and there's still some nuances to playing first base that he will adjust to and be unfamiliar with, but will get more familiar as he plays. So I'm very pleased with all the individuals that filled in for our injured players.
Well, Brett Laurie with 2 away, and certainly one of the headliners in this series is Brett Laurie, the trade prior to last season with Sean Markham, and he's said all the right things in the interviews, and he's had a great start to his major league career. Sean Markham, the man he was traded for. And I'm wondering, from your perspective, how this series, as you watch Laurie play in the big leagues, and you've obviously been asked the questions, would you do it again? Markham was terrific for you last year, but as you watch Laurie, what's on your mind?
Well, he's a very talented player. He's got all-star ability. He can play anywhere out there. In the series this past week, we saw Alcides Escobar too, and we were talking about it at lunch the other day, and basically saying, would we have had? I'm not sure that we'd have had enough patience, whether it's from myself, the ownership, the fans, the media, to wait 2 more years. But that's when you always talk about being patient. You could have had an infield of Laurie at third and Escobar at short and Jake Odorizzi and Lorenzo Cain in center field, but you probably don't win those 2 years. So there's always a trade-off, and we've produced some good young players, and that's part of putting a good team together is having young players not making a lot of money. But you look at Laurie and Escobar on the left side of an infield, boy, they would cover a lot of ground over there. 2 great athletes that can run. But we were in a position to we felt the door was open for a couple of years to try to win, and we went out there and did what we felt we had to do to try to get to a World Series.
See if Thornburg can get Laurie here, and he steps out. That's the 2nd time he's done that. He did it in his first at-bat. Alan Porter granting timeout.
Yeah, Thornburg holding the ball a little bit, trying to freeze him up there at the plate. You talk about an intense player, Brett Laurie, but getting back to the decision, an NLCS is a pretty good trade-off, though.
Yeah, I think it is. And you've 3 million fans here for 3 out of 4 years, and 2 games from going to the World Series. So I think we would make that trade, even though it's tough at the time, and you have to give up good players. We did it for the Sabathia trade, and so it's just a matter of making your decision. And markets like ours, I've said before, there's certain markets that door opens up, and you have to just make your decision and go with it and live with it and move on. And that, I think the one thing that comes out of it all is seeing these players is that we still have a very good scouting staff, player development staff.
Laurie into center field. That ball's well hit. Back is Gomez running out of room. He is at the wall. He leaps, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Brett Laurie. Boy, he is coming here and swung the bat well in his first 2 games at Miller Park. That gives the Blue Jays their first runs. Puts them up 2-0 here in the 3rd inning.
And no doubt he's got a lot of ability. It looked like a high changeup from Tyler Thornburg right down the middle of the plate. And Laurie's seen that pitch already today. You figure Thornburg's going to have to make some adjustments. The Blue Jays have never seen him before, and that one just getting out of here to center field.
And for Laurie, his 7th homer of the season, 29 runs batted in now. And here's Colby Rasmus.
He's got a lot of physical skills like Bryce Harper. You look at the two of them, very aggressive. The way they play their game, both on the offensive side and the defensive side, and on the bases, very aggressive with their game.
Rasmus into the ground for Masonette, and the side is retired. Well, Doug, we ask you to stay because we have a new player to talk about on the roster. He doesn't have any idea what I'm talking about. Presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. Yeah, the sausages on the Harleys earlier today. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Doug Melvin, the Brewers general manager, joining us as we move to the bottom of the 3rd inning. And talking about a lot of things today. I kind of sprung that on you going into the break, but we had kind of a fun moment at the ballpark. It's been a stressful season, but you had a chance to sign a Brewer for the day today. Jack Coleman is his name. Why don't you tell us about that situation? He was pretty funny in his press conference today. He got a chance to be a Brewer for a day. You paid him and everything, Doug.
Yeah, Jack won the prize as being one of the top fans, and for the Brewers, he's attended games, 1957 World Series. It was good and interesting to listen to him today. Audrey Keene was here, the wife of Harvey, and Jack was good friends of Harvey Keene and attended as a season ticket holder a lot of games, but also left the ballpark with Harvey and went and had a cocktail after. But he was out here. They had him on videotape and playing first base, and he hit a home run and fielded a ground ball. And as a lifelong season ticket holder, it was quite a thrill for he and his family.
Looked like a perfect candidate for fantasy camp, Rock. That was the Fantastic 40 promotion.
You certainly don't have to be 40. Mr. Coleman's in his 60s, I think. And so Omar Vizquel, not that old.
The thing was, he received 1 day. I signed him to a major league contract. I hope he didn't take up roster space, but he got 1 day of major league salary, and I don't know exactly what that is, the minimum salary. So that's a pretty good payday.
Well, it's genius marketing, because he just handed the check over to you and said, just apply this to my playoff tickets.
Well, he was thinking about getting a fantasy camp, application.
There you go.
See how it works?
So
look at him light up over there.
See, see the way Doug tries to sell it for me?
You've completely engaged the Brewers analyst. There's Jack.
There he is.
And Doug, you went through the whole thing with him, just like you were introducing
press conference.
Zach Greinke.
Look at him. Watch this play. Look at that. He said it took him 8 times, to do that, to make that play.
Good for him. He got a chance to throw out the first pitch today as well. So that was a nice moment here. A lot of fun. I mean, he was actually very funny, and he's been a long-time season ticket holder, and that's kind of the deal. You know, the 40 program, you can be a season ticket holder. You get picked randomly, and you get a chance to hang out with Doug Melvin. Pretty cool.
Good deal. Get a uniform.
So that's what we did earlier today. Edwin Masonette in a 2-2 count hits that one hard to center field. Rasmus backing up on it, and there is out number 1. Well, you had mentioned Tyler Thornburg, who's stepping in for his first major league at bat. He was a two-way player in college and a pretty good hitter. He had, what, 24 career college home runs. That's pretty significant.
Our pitchers haven't hit as well this year. That was one thing we were looking at last year. We were one of the top hitting pitching staffs in baseball, and we haven't hit as well this year, but maybe Tyler will get a hit here today. He looks comfortable up there.
Thornburg was 5 for 18 with a home run and 3 RBIs at AA Huntsville this year.
Wow.
And he hits that one hard. It goes into the gap. Thornburg for extra bases.
Oh,
on cue.
It's a 1-out double with his first major league hit. He gets a standing ovation from this big crowd.
I wonder what's more exciting, his first strikeout or his first hit?
Got to be a first hit. I mean, he scalded that baseball in the center field.
Yeah, he'll get a share of strikeouts, I think.
Yeah.
Big smile on his face.
A lot going on for Tyler Thornburg today. I would imagine, Doug, he's going to sleep well tonight. Should he pitch well? A lot of emotions going into your first major league start.
Well, that's the fun part of the job. There's a lot of fun with this job, and there's other times that it's not as much fun. But the one fun moment for a general manager, for his scout player development, is to see that player come up and get that first big league opportunity.
Nigel Morgan will secure that baseball. His first major league hit, Tyler Thornburg. So he's at second, top of the order, Nori Aoki. Well, Aoki has done a great job. I was contemplating a couple of innings ago, if Ricky Weeks continues to hit, do you see Weeks moving back to the top of the order, or do you like Aoki in there now in your discussions with Ron Renicky?
Yeah, we've gone back and forth a little bit with it, and you know, if Ricky gets going, there's always that possibility, because Ricky still gets his walks. He's I think he's 7 for 14 hitting his last 3 games, and you know, Ricky still, it's nice. It's a nice thing about Ricky is I believe he could hit either spot up at the top of the order, and that we're just trying to, you know, with LaCroix and Gamble and Alex Gonzalez out, we had thought with the 3 of them in the bottom of the order, there was a chance of maybe getting 75 doubles between the 3 of them. And you know, that probably not going to happen with the bottom of the order now with the injuries that take place. So we're looking for a little bit of offense to give the lineup a little better balance too.
That's a sweet swing right there from Tyler Thornburg. He's up there looking like he knows what he's doing, and he proves it. That's a good hack. Johnny Nairn's got to be having a big smile on his face looking at that approach.
Sounded good.
It did. That's a guy starting to heat up a little bit. Ramis Ramirez has been swinging the bat pretty well ever since that quad injury, and Ricky Weeks, as you mentioned, starting to put together some pretty good at bats. You need that going on behind Ryan in that batting order.
Yeah, Ramos is he's been going to right field very well. He's the other day, that game against Minnesota, Ben Revere sort of stole that game from us with 3 great plays, but Ramos has been going to right field, and I think he's got 19 or 20 doubles, and he likes that RBI situation, so he's come around here and put some things together. So we just need to get consistently playing good baseball. I don't think we've lost more than 4 games in a row at any time during the year. So we haven't had the so-called 8-game losing streak. I know Atlanta had one. Kansas City lost 12 in a row, and you know, other teams have had 7 or 8-game losing streaks. We haven't had that. We just haven't had the winning streak. So, you know, we're hoping for a good week to 10 days where we can put something together and be an 8-2, a 9-1 streak and get you back in this race. The Reds are feeling pretty good right now about how they're playing and how they're going, but I think everybody else right now is catchable in this division. You got to get to 500 first before you take your next step.
Cincinnati losing yesterday to the Indians, but they had won 6 straight, and the Reds lead the division by 3.5 as Gomez sends one left center field, That ball's well hit. It will drop. Thornburg scores. Gomez stumbling around first. He'll stop at second with an RBI double. And hitting in front of Ryan Braun, that is a big hit with 2 outs.
Yeah, Gomez loves the ball in on him. You can't throw it too far in for Gomez to get a pretty good hack at it. Chavez trying to come inside. He got it down, and Gomez able to drop the head of the bat on it and split the seam between left and center. There's a nice 2-out double for Carlos Gomez to get the Brewers on the board. Carlos Gomez is pretty close to 100% as far as running.
Yeah, he looks like it. You know, you can tell when he's out there and can steal a base. That's when he's back, and he's done that recently. So, yeah, he's been more aggressive. You know, I think we've sort of taken away the thoughts about the bunting and the walk and looking for walks and that. You know, he has the power to drive the ball. So he's been aggressive since he's come back, and you know, he's outstanding defensively, and great to have him on the bases and healthy, because he is brings a lot of energy to our ball club.
Yeah, he's a game changer on the bases. We'll see if Braun can drive him in. This rally started by Thornburg, rookie pitcher, with his first major league hit, a double into left center. And now Braun gets a chance after a single his last time up. Tying run at second, visiting with Doug Melvin here in the booth. Now Braun just stays consistent. Actually, we put his numbers this year compared to last year through the amount of games he's played this season. He's actually having a better year statistically than he did last year in his MVP season.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, when Prince left, make a big deal out of who's hitting behind you and all that. And I think that is important to a point, but I think what's more important is who's hitting in front of you. Are people getting on base? Because if people are getting on base, they can't pitch around you. And it doesn't matter if who's hitting behind you if there's men on base in front of you all the time. And I know a lot of Jeff Bagwell's success over the course of his career was because Greg Biggio was always on base in front of him. And so, you know, there's two different theories and philosophies about that. But what's more important, who's hitting in front of you or who's hitting behind you. But it's great to have both if you can.
Well, he's been impressively consistent throughout his career, especially with the tough off season. A lot of questions asked to Braun, about Braun. He's come back and he's put up big numbers, and he's not exactly 100%. He's been nursing an Achilles injury as well, and a hip injury. But Braun, he's got a chance and most likely will be headed to the All-Star game. Brewers fans trying to get him in there as a starter, 5th consecutive year. What a talent he has been. An amazing consistency through these first 6 years in the big leagues.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the game. There's no doubt about it. For me, there's a lot of similarities to he's a right-handed Larry Walker, who was very consistent throughout his career. Larry had and Ryan's becoming a much better outfielder too. He's gone out there and learned to play left field, and he's made some great plays out there too, and has a good arm.
Pulls that one foul, just foul. And the count will stay 2-2.
And the impressive thing for me, Doug, is the fact that they might try to pitch around him a little bit, but you know, Ryan Braun is a pretty good bad ball hitter.
Yeah.
You don't have to throw him strikes for Braun, not just to get a piece of it, but drive the ball to the opposite field. He'll hit a pitch about 3 or 4 inches off the inside corner and just whistle it down the line. Not too many guys can do that.
No, he's got great plate coverage. And, you know, he can wait and let the ball get deep on him. And he does use the whole field, and most good hitters will use the whole field.
2-2. Braun lays off. Count goes full to Braun. There's a base open at first. With Gomez out at second, we'll see how aggressive Jesse Chavez will be facing Ryan Braun. A run is in for the Brewers. Brett Laurie hit a 2-run homer in the top of this 3rd inning. Full count, 2 outs, and Braun takes ball 4. We'll probably see a lot more walks to Ryan Braun this year. And I think now that Ramirez is starting to pick it up at the plate, we're starting to see a few more. And it's imperative that Ramirez get going at the plate. He's had a pretty good stretch here.
Yeah, he does. He likes these kind of situations. I know when he was with the Cubs, we always feared him up there with men on base, and I think he's getting back into that mode here. He's very aggressive a lot of times early in the count, but this situation here he's been capitalizing on here. recently. I think he's up to 38, 39 RBIs.
Yeah, 38 ribbies.
RBIs, yeah.
For Ramirez, 8 homers. Had 3 hits last night, including what proved to be a game-winning home run. Chavez hits the corner for a strike.
Obviously, you're a big proponent of replay now after last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the replay on the home run calls. I have to give it a little more thought to whether I'd want it, you know, added on. I'm not a big believer that I would want to add too much more replay.
There was a ball last night. Ramirez hit what was originally called as a foul ball, overturned, the first reversible call that was overturned here at Miller Park, believe it or not. And Ramirez got to get in his home run trot after all last night. Brewers would hang on to win 7-6 the final. 2 on, 2 out. And that skips away from Aaron Sebia. Ramirez followed by Hart. Talked about Corey at first base. He's never he used to say he didn't like the 5-hole, Doug, but seems like he's settling in okay in that role this season.
Yeah, you know, when he was hitting the leadoff spot, I know he had 5 doubles and 3 home runs with only 8 RBIs. And for a team that's struggling for runs, you're going to have that kind of extra base production. You really, he can help us more where he's hitting down in the order. If we were healthy and had LaCroix, Gamble, Gonzalez at the bottom in the 6, 7, 8 spots, it might be different. You could put Corey up in the top of the order. You could put Ricky back up there, but you know, we don't have them there. And Maldonado and Masonette and Cody Ransom, whoever, they're doing the best job they can, and they've come up with some big hits for us.
Nice to have a guy like Corey Hart. Doesn't seem to bother him where he's playing, what position, you know, where in the batting order. A lot of guys wouldn't be so receptive to that.
Yeah, I think the thing with hitters, and I never was one, so I can't say for sure, but I think the thing is just not moving around on a regular basis, day in, and I'm there one day and there 2 days later, and I'm in another spot 2 days later. I don't think they mind that if they're in a spot. If I'm hitting 5th, okay, I'm hitting 5th for an extended period of time. If I have to move later on for the benefit of the team, that's good, but just not the moving every day or two.
3-2 pitch. The runners take off, and Ramirez fouls it away. Well, Doug, right now the Brewers 7.5 back of the Reds, and I'm sure there are going to be some anxious moments for a GM as you move toward the trade deadline, and you have a little over a month to deal with that. What goes through your mind during this stretch of games?
Well, you know, you always hope you have that good week. Like I said, 10 days get you back in it, so that's what you're hoping for.
There's ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Brewers doing all of this with 2 outs. It was a 2-out RBI double by Gomez, and then back-to-back walks.
Yeah, second time through for Milwaukee seems to be much better. The approach much better. Chavez all of a sudden having a difficult time finding the strike zone. My first time through, he was fooling a lot of the Brewer hitters, Doug, with fastballs in. That's something that he didn't do a whole lot of as a reliever with the Pirates. It was basically fastball slider for Chavez. He's come up with a couple of pitches, and early on it looked like the Brewers are a bit startled by that, kind of surprised.
Yeah, he's pitched out of the bullpen most of his career too, so starting is new to him. But going back to Brian's question, you know, you just have to be prepared both ways. Obviously, we want to win ball games, and we want to be in a position you'd rather add a player or two. And that all comes, you just get a gut feeling of how you're playing. When we traded for CC Sabathia, I believe we were 4 games out, and we said, let's go for it. And sometimes a gut feeling and how your team's playing. Are you healthy and players coming back, or are you not healthy and players not coming back? That all comes into play. And we have some attractive players from other clubs, and I think a lot of them are not as anxious to call clubs because no one wants to admit that you're ever out of a pennant race. Right. There's over 100 games left, and you know, there's teams that, if you look back at the Cardinals last year, I think they were 10 out September 1st. So you just have to be careful where you're at, but you have to be open-minded and be able to think both ways in case you have to move.
Ball and a strike to Hart, misses away. 2-1. Well, the Brewers putting together a bit of a rally here. A run is in on an RBI double by Gomez. He's now at third. Back-to-back walks, Braun and Ramirez to load him up. Corey Hart hoping to cash in. 2-1 Toronto. Bottom of the third inning. And Corey's worked the count in his favor. 2-2 now. Do you have a set day? You know, you said it's a feel, and I know you and Gord Ash, your assistant general manager, you spend a lot of time with the ball club, and is that part of the plan to get a feel for where the club is right now?
Yeah, we always have someone going with the team on the road, and like I said, we've never had the big losing streak. With our pitching, we may never have that. It's just getting the winning streak. But
Hart is hit by a pitch. A breaking ball that didn't break. And Hart literally taking one for the team.
Just really has lost his command completely, and basically all the command issues for Chavez until this curveball was all fastballs away.
An RBI that'll come with a mark.
Yep, right off the elbow. It looked Doug like he really didn't make much effort to get rid of that, get that elbow out of the way. But hey, it's an RBI. You don't mind getting hit with a curveball.
32 RBIs for Corey Hart. 2-2 ball game. Now Ricky Weeks, whom we were just speaking about. He struck out looking his last time up. He and Hart surprised by the fastball of Chavez.
And the fastball in surprised both of them.
he's throwing the ball 94 miles an hour. Looks like he's just been throwing away and away. But, you know, I've noticed a lot of teams, Minnesota the same way, a lot of teams play our offense to the right side of the outfield and give us left center.
Which gives you somewhat of an indication how they're going to pitch you.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
One thing that I'm surprised about with this Toronto outfield, they're pretty shallow. I mean, they're shallow on everybody.
Well, I didn't want to say it because Bautista, the Hears, they might run back there and push him back a little bit. But he is, if you look at it, Gordon and I were talking about Kansas City, how you could tell how much room's behind the outfielder to the fence. That outfield in Kansas City is really big. But looking at right field, Jose Bautista does look a little bit shallow, but he's athletic and has good range. Colby Rasmus has always played shallow.
Yeah.
Even in St. Louis and their Paul Park has a big center field. And I always thought Colby played shallow and liked going back to the balls.
Well, 3 balls, no strikes. Jesse Chavez in the deep waters here as he delivers a strike on the corner.
See that? Rasmus just moved and straightened up a little bit.
You're teaching us a way to watch the game in a whole different way. Rasmus moved over about 5 paces. He moved back and over towards center. And he moves another couple of steps over. 3-1 to Weeks, and that one is on the corner. And now it's 3-2.
He hasn't thrown back-to-back pitches like that all inning. Both of them right on the outside corner.
A tough pitch to hit.
Tough pitch to hit, and a lot of times that pitch isn't called a strike, but looked like a pretty good pitch.
Saw Ricky tap on his chest to the home plate umpire as if to say, my bad, my fault, didn't mean to walk out on you. Well, a big spot early for the Brewers. They have answered the 2-run home run by Laurie with 2 here in the third. And 4 consecutive base runners with 2 outs. All 3 runners will get a head start. 3-2 the count. There they go. Weeks fouls it away. Bit of a defensive swing from Ricky Weeks. One thing about Ricky, as bad as his season has gone this year, after an all-star season last year, he's the same guy every day. You'd never know if he's hitting 400 or 100. And he's got a chance to do some big damage. 3-2. The runners go. Weeks takes a ball inside. Wow. Close pitch. Ball 4. And the Brewers take the lead.
That's the same pitch, pretty close to the same pitch that he got rung up on in the second inning. That one just a little bit too far inside. Ricky able to lay off of it. 3 walks and a hit batter, and Jesse Chavez now is behind 3-2.
And that Toronto bullpen starts to get loose.
It's all starting with a Tyler Thornburg double with 1 out.
Carlos Villanueva, former Brewer in the bullpen. There was some talk that he would start tomorrow's game for the Blue Jays, depending on what happened today. And
forget about that.
He's up and throwing, and maybe an early visitor to this game. Here's Maldonado. Doug Maldonado has been quite a story, and now the catching depth in your organization has to be something you're proud of at this point.
Yeah, we always liked Martin, and he did a good job. He was a release player by the Angels in rookie ball, and came up through the system and come up with some big home runs while he's up here. And we all know about his catching ability and throwing ability.
Tough to release a guy who can catch the way he can.
Yeah, you know, when you get young catchers that catch and throw, and catching's as hard to find as shortstops are. We've talked about that in the past. It's one of the reasons we wanted to lock Jonathan LaCroix up to a contract, and you know, we felt we were thin at catching. George Gutierrez has done a nice job, and now Martin, so it gives us a little more depth. Then our first round pick this year, Clint Poulter's a catcher, and he's got a ways to go, but
he has been very impressive behind home plate. A very good throwing arm, blocks the ball very well, and he has done a pretty good job at the plate. 4 home runs, 3 of which have given the Brewers a lead. So his home runs have really helped the cause, and a big home run against the Twins on Friday to give him the 2-run lead late.
He really has played better, performed better up here than he did at AAA. And
right.
Sometimes that happens. You know, you get into AAA and the travel's tough, and you don't know where the end of the tunnel is for you. You don't know if you're ever going to get called up. You look at Jonathan, the year he was having, and George, and you would hope your player doesn't get a little bit back on his heels and performing, but it's only natural sometimes, and you got to kick yourself in the butt. And Mike Guerrero does a good job down there, and AAA sometimes a hard place to manage, one of the harder places to manage.
You get a lot of guys that feel as though they should be in the big leagues. Yeah.
Exactly.
3 balls and a strike. Maldonado takes ball 4, and the line continues for the Brew Crew. Another walk with the bases loaded. John Farrell is on his way out. So after 2 men were out, a double by Gomez, 2 walks, a hit batter, then 2 more walks, and the Brewers have a 4-2 lead. Jesse Chavez is out of this game. Doug, thank you for joining us. Extended rally here. You're welcome to sit here as long as you like.
I was going to ask, do I get paid overtime? But
sure. The general manager, you know, he's got quite the ERA. He gets a lot of runs when he's up here with us, right?
Thanks,
right,
guys.
Thanks,
Get
Doug.
us a couple more runs.
Carlos Villanueva, the next hurler, will take a timeout.
On the board here in the bottom of the 3rd, and Thursday, July 5th, is a Time Warner Cable Customer Appreciation Game. bring last month's Time Warner billing statement to the Miller Park box office for a buy one get one free Terrace ticket offer.
Now the beat goes on here in the bottom of the third inning, and a familiar face on the mound for the Blue Jays, Carlos Villanueva. And he will inherit a bases loaded situation. 4 runs are in. They have all scored with 2 outs. The Brewers have been able to bat around in this third inning. 2 doubles, 4 walks, and a hit batter. Here's Edwin Masonette with the bases full.
Not often you see a team bat around in an inning with only 2 hits. But that's the situation here today. I'll tell you, Jesse Chavez was throwing extremely well. 1 out in the third. He allowed only 1 base runner. That was a hit by Braun. 4 punch outs and then lost it completely. Amazing.
And still 3 base runners that are his responsibility. Masonette hoping to continue here. Masonette has one of 2 Brewers grand slams this season. Jonathan Lucroy has the other. That is to date still the only home run for Masonette, and his only 4 RBIs of the season. Ball and a strike.
Of course, everybody remembers Carlos Villanueva. Very good changeup. Relies on off-speed pitches. Has never been in a hurry out there on the mound. He made some starts for the Toronto Blue Jays last year.
He's a pretty valuable swingman for the Blue Jays. Essentially the Marco Estrada of the Blue Jays. Can fill in, make some starts, give you some innings of relief, extended innings. And you know, John Farrell is going to ask a lot of him today. He was supposed to start tomorrow. The 1-1. Masonette fouls it away. Ball and 2 strikes now on the Brewers shortstop.
And Carlos had a pretty good year last year for Toronto. 13 starts, 33 appearances, and a 6-4 record. ERA just a bit over 4. So he did a nice job as that swing man.
4-2 Crew. The 1-2 pitch. Masonette goes, and the inning is over as Aaron Sebia steps on the plate. So it ends with a strikeout, and the Brewers stranding the bases loaded. But they score 4, and they lead 4-2.
Was the first pitch ever for Tyler Thornburg in the big leagues. Did a nice job. Gave up a home run to Brett Laurie. He fell behind 2-0 on that home run. And then the floodgates opened for the Brewers against Jesse Chavez. It was a double for Carlos Gomez to drive in Thornburg, who doubled his first ever at bat. And then it was 4 walks and a hit batter Brewers able to bat around with only 2 hits and currently hold a 4-2 lead.
And Thornburg back on the mound now, pitching with a lead as we go to the 4th. That 2-run homer by Laurie came with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Laurie's 2nd home run to go along with a double. Laurie has 4 hits already in this series. Jose Bautista leads off for Toronto. Thornburg got him to pop up in the 1st inning. Bautista hit a 3-run game-tying home run last night off Cameron Lowe. Got in on his hands, and a fly ball to center field. Gomez is there. Out number 1 for Tyler Thornburg. Bautista and Encarnacion, the big home run threats in this lineup. Encarnacion last night hit one of the longest home runs by a right-handed hitter in the history of this ballpark. Randy Wolf knew it as it banged off Bernie Slide up there. And as far as home run hitting duos, Bautista and Encarnacion at the top of the list in Major League Baseball. It combined to hit 38. Adam Dunn and Paul Konerko's second on the list. Dunn's had a breakthrough year after a down season last season. Shift is on for Encarnacion. Brewers have 3 infielders on the left side of the infield, and Thornburg working inside to Encarnacion. Thornburg likes to work quickly. Keeps a good pace on the mound. Doug Melvin referenced that.
And what he's doing is when he's missing with that changeup, he's missing down in the strike zone except for 1 pitch. That was Brett Laurie with the home run. 92 to 95 with a fastball. Very good changeup. 81 to 83 with that changeup. So the speed differential with the changeup with the fastball about 8 to 10 miles an hour. That's perfect.
2-2 to Encarnacion. And a fastball that missed. 95 with the heater. Didn't miss by much.
Once again, missing down. That's where you want to miss.
Thornburg has 1 strikeout. He struck out Rajay Davis, his first major league strikeout. Straight from Double-A to the big leagues. Tyler Thornburg, rated as the 6th best prospect according to Baseball America in the Brewers minor league system. But he raced through the system. He was just in college 2 years ago. Bouncing ball to short. The shift works to perfection as Masonette makes a play, and Encarnacion is out number 2. Now a reminder to log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. You can look for the Eagle River Going Gone banner. You can find out how you can win a 1-week family vacation for 4 to Eagle River. 2 outs for Kelly Johnson. Now you wonder if Thornburg, when that ball left the bat, thought it might have been a hit. He goes, oh, there's a guy there now.
Yeah, they shift up here.
Certainly not the kind of shifting in Double-A Huntsville as you see in the big leagues.
I just don't have the scouting reports. All the scouting money goes to the big leagues. Guys are on their own in the minor leagues.
Sometimes that can help the process. Sometimes it can hurt the process.
Sometimes there is too much information. Just got to be able to manage it.
There's a strike to Johnson. I know tonight for sure, and talking to Rick Kranitz, very similar pattern and strategy when Mike Fiers made his first major league start earlier this year in Los Angeles. Keep it simple, pitch to your strengths. Tyler Thornburg, Martin Maldonado, and Rick Kranitz spent a lot of time just sitting in the classroom in the Brewers clubhouse, just going through different scenarios.
How much of that do you think sunk in?
Right. That's what you're wondering.
Just a little bit, right? I mean, he's kind of overwhelmed.
He strikes out Johnson with a fastball. And a 1-2-3 inning. A shutdown inning for Tyler Thornburg after the Brewers get him 4 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Fourth, let's check the crew in the community. Today, Brewers players, coaches, and front office staff set an example for fans by stepping up to the plate for skin cancer screenings. The Play Sun Smart program aims to raise awareness of skin cancer and educate fans on how to protect their skin, especially when playing or watching their national pastime. You can be screened too, just like the Brewers. Look for a free screening in your area at mlbcommunity.org. And Rock and BA, this is a very important issue for Major League Baseball. Commissioner Bud Selig had a melanoma scare about 10 years ago. And for those of us who know the commissioner, he doesn't spend a lot of time at Bradford Beach. That was a wake-up call for all of us.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And it's a great thing that baseball does, raising awareness for skin cancer. I had a piece cut out of my lip about 10 years ago, and that was my wake-up call. So we strongly support this cause, and keep yourself out of the sun. If you have to be in the sun, make sure you use your sunscreen.
Yep, I make sure that I get to the dermatologist a couple of times a year. I've had a couple of basal cells cut out, so you got to make sure you keep up on that. It is a good success rate once you get it early.
Tyler Thornburg strikes out. Villanueva has struck out his first two batters faced. He got out of a bases loaded jam last inning when the Brewers sent 10 men to the plate. Whatever Villanueva does here tonight for the Blue Jays, it is going to be a back to the drawing board scenario after this game, and I'm sure it's ongoing right now. And certainly John Farrell has a plan B, but Villanueva, they were hoping they could get through this game so he could start tomorrow. So the Brewers have already done severe damage to the plans of the Toronto Blue Jays for the finale tomorrow afternoon.
It could be one of those 6-pitcher outings for the Blue Jays. A bullpen game completely for Toronto. We'll see.
Well, it makes this game all that much more important. A win tonight, the Brewers are going to have a team with very little pitching as Aoki dribbles one out to second base. Kelly Johnson makes a play for out number 2.
Hey, fans, come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Miami Marlins July 2nd through the 5th. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com.
It was a 4-run inning for the Brew Crew in the third, and it all started with a 2-out RBI double by Carlos Gomez. Gomez, just as that pitch was being released, took one step forward in the batter's box. Villanueva, the change-up specialist. Stays put this time and launches one left field. Is it going to stay fair? No. Foul ball for Carlos Gomez.
And not often you see a guy move around in the batter's box like they did, you know, back in the old days. Back in the 80s, the Brewer hitters, Molitor Yount, would move around a little bit, try and catch that off-speed pitch before it got too much down in the strike zone. You very rarely, if ever, see anybody move around in the box anymore. And as I always say, if Molitor and Yount can do it, anybody should be able to do it.
Right. That one is a called strike 3. Gomez is rung up, and Villanueva with a 3-up, 3-down inning, a pair of Ks.
Tonight's time of the game winner, Chadwick's in Appleton. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Wonder if Tyler Thornburg went to Chadwick's last year when he was in Appleton. 1 year ago at this time he was
think about that, huh?
in Appleton, and here he is in the big leagues. And you think about he's playing center field for Charleston Southern 2 seasons ago. College ball to single A and to the big leagues in a 3-year span.
Now think about Henderson Alvarez, the starter for Toronto last year or last night. He started last year in the low minor leagues, propelled himself up to the major leagues, and has put together a pretty good season this year.
Thornburg has Escobar 0-2, and a breaking ball misses. Doug Melvin joined us earlier. We were talking to Doug, and was talking to Tom Flanagan, who was at that workout that Thornburg performed at before the draft. He said, you know, he showed all the intangibles. He had a great fastball, a nasty curveball, good changeup. But he also showed a little swagger. There was just something about him that the Brewers liked a lot. They loved the fact that he was a two-way player, and he ended up being drafted in the 3rd round. He's not very big. He's listed at 5'11", probably more like 5'10". Bouncing ball to short. Masonette. And Escobar is retired. Thornburg is retired 5 straight since the home run by Laurie. Rock, our Carsoup.com question tonight is for you. What do you remember about your major league debut? Matt wants to know out of West Dallas.
Yeah, I remember my first ever game. I caught Danny Darwin. Actually, it was Bob McClure, and Danny Darwin was pitching for the Texas Rangers, and actually won that ball game. I got my first major league hit. I think it was my 3rd time up, hit a triple.
Rajay Davis in the shallow center field. Gomez calls and catches for out number 2.
But what I remember most about that game, I came up, my first ever major league at bat, came up with the bases loaded. Danny Darwin on the mound. They had a 3-0 count on me. Me of all people, I never walked. Ended up striking out. I'll never forget. I'd love to relive that again.
Yeah.
I'd have taken that second pitch. That second 3-2 pitch. I would have walked.
Probably just plays in your mind as clear as it could be.
Killing me.
Here's JP Arancibia. How about on the other side, Rock? Do you have a memory of a game where you caught a pitcher making his major league debut, even a starter?
Yeah, well, Jim Abbott. Jim Abbott, when I was with a member of the California Angels.
And what were some of the things you did differently that night because he's making his debut that you wouldn't normally do?
Nothing really. Nothing really. I mean, Jim Abbott was about as poised as there was out there on the mound, even for a guy making his major league debut. I remember he lost 8-0 against Seattle.
Well, you wonder, Maldonado was very good for Mike Fiers. Those two were battery mates in AAA Nashville. Maldonado, outside of spring training, has not caught Tyler Thornburg. He's been a level ahead of him. That one misses a little high, and it's 2-2 now on the Blue Jay catcher, JP Arancibia. Arancibia singled in the 3rd inning. He was aboard when Laurie hit the 2-run homer. 2-2 pitch. Count goes full. The last player to be promoted from AA or lower to the Brewers, to the big league club, and make his major league debut as a starting pitcher was Chris Saenz. Got to go back to the 2004 season, and he got the win in that game.
That was against the Cardinals. 6 innings, 2 hits, 7 punch outs.
That was also here at Miller Park. That was his only major league appearance.
Yeah.
Never saw him in the big leagues again. Mark Rogers was promoted from AA Huntsville to Milwaukee in September of 2010. That one's driven to right. Very well hit. Aoki on the run, and he cannot get it. It bounces up and out. Arancibia with a 2-out, 2-strike double.
Having a good news, 2 outs, and Carlos Villanueva coming to the plate. Aaron Sibia giving that one a pretty good ride to the opposite field over the head of Aoki. Fastball away, goes right with it, and gives it a pretty good swing.
Thornburg had him down 0-2. And Sibia laid off a couple of tough pitches to get it back in his favor. So now Thornburg deals with Villanueva. He's always fashioned himself a good hitter. Remember, at one time Villanueva as a Brewer was begging to switch hit. And once they saw him swing the bat left-handed, exposing his pitching elbow, they said, no, you know what? If you're going to swing and miss all the time, you might as well hit right-handed. So they turned him around.
Well, but he's 1 for 1 this year. That batting average looks pretty good.
Yes, it does. 1,000. Little leg kick, little.
Look at this.
That's a distraction tactic, as you can see by his swing tactic.
Looked like one of the Rockettes with that swing. Now, as we laugh at it, he's probably going to get a base hit, right? There it is. Look at it. Nice.
He didn't do that when he was ready to swing the bat. 2-2. And a little flare into right over is Aoki. And that's that. So Thornburg puts up another 0. He is through 5 in his big league debut. 4-2 Brewers, and the reigning MVP ready to lead off when we come back. Bottom of the 5th we go, and Ryan Braun will lead off for Milwaukee. 4-2. The Brewers have the lead. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin tonight. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder. Drew Olson is here. Chris Withers and Kevin Shank manning the operations in the truck. Now Ryan Braun, you go back to his MVP season, the beginning of 2011, all the way through where he is right now. You see where he ranks. He is first in homers, first in RBIs, a .327 batting average, second, and the slugging percentage, the on-base percentage, you get the rest for Ryan Braun. He has maintained an extremely high level of production.
And one of the best starts to a career in the history of the game. When you put it all in perspective and you look deep into the numbers for Ryan Braun. And is continuing at a pretty good pace here this year.
Braun 19 homers, 48 runs batted in. Villanueva trying to pound him inside with a fastball. That is a good strategy, but it is a very fine line for a pitcher on Ryan Braun. He stands so far off the plate to start with.
He'll look in there from time to time, and he will take a pretty good swing at a fastball that's in off the corner if he's looking in there. Just like he will be able to hit a pitch that's about 2 or 3 inches off the outside corner into right field, which is one of the reasons why he's been able to put up the numbers that he has.
Only Matt Kemp has hit for a higher batting average in the year and a half, beginning in 2011. Braun cues that one foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Ryan. Has a single and a walk in this game. He scored a run in the 3rd. All 4 of the Brewers' runs coming in the 3rd inning. And a meltdown by Jesse Chavez. He was cruising along. Chavez was with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, with no runs until the floodgates opened up. There was a hit, and then 2 walks, and then a hit batter, and then 2 more walks. And Chavez was out. Braun hits that one hard on a hop to Kelly Johnson, and he's retired. First out of the inning for Villanueva. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia tonight. Prior to this season, who are the last pair of Brewers pitchers to make their first MLB start in the same season? I'll give you the hint that may help you out. The year was 2007. Normally hints are frowned upon in this establishment.
I know it, so I'm going to remain quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe I should tweet it.
Again, you have that option. Have you been tweeting tonight your new Twitter handle? What is it now? No, don't tell me. At Brewers Fan Camp. Is that correct?
Right.
Nice.
I tweeted a scouting report on Tyler Thornburg today.
And you also gave a verbal scouting report the old-fashioned way as an analyst on television.
For those who are not on Twitter.
I see. Well,
right.
Thank goodness.
Right.
Was there any deviation from your Twitter scouting report and your verbal scouting report?
Nothing consequence.
Rock answered a lot of questions today on our pregame show. Thanks to our good friends at Clemens for feeding the crew. At Brewers Fan Camp is the official Twitter handle of Bill Schroeder. Good questions today.
Yeah.
Ramirez fouls it back, 2-2 the count.
You can send us some questions via Twitter. Some will be answered through the Twitter, and others will be answered on air. So a lot of different ways that we can connect with the folks out there. You and I.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of.
I'm sure there's some questions are going to be directed at you.
I'm going to potato sack with you on that.
No problem.
Just like everything else these past 6 years.
You're selling yourself short.
That's not hard for me to do. Great spread today, though. We appreciate the grill today, the grill out for the crew.
The folks from Clements able to provide the meal with got the big grill out, some sausages.
That is a major league grill as well. And how about the new concession item that will be unveiled in July?
They don't have a name for it, but it is a 24-inch, I believe, hot dog with some pretzel bread,
cheese and onions.
Yeah, it looks good.
All the rave. There'll be there'll be contests with that one. Kobayashi will be showing up trying to eat that one. Ramirez able to check his swing. 3-2 to count.
That looks like a man versus food contest.
I could see a few of those giant hot dog eating contests in the stands this year. That could happen when the ego takes over.
Yeah. A couple of Miller Lights.
Got to get a shot of that.
Start taking one on.
Full count to Ramirez. And it's ball 4. Villanueva wanted the call. He didn't get it. And Ramirez draws the walk. Base runner with 1 out. Check the Powerball home run leaderboard. Braun with 19 for the season. That is not only leading the ball club, but leads the National League. Corey Hart has 14. So here's Corey Hart. Brewers would love to add to their lead. They've actually been out hit tonight by the Blue Jays. Hart fouls it back. It was a 7-6 win last night for the Brewers. At one point, Milwaukee had a 6-1 lead, but still able to win it. Trying to make it back-to-back victories here on the short 3-game homestand as Hart lifts it in the air to right. Bautista for out number 2.
And Villanueva doing a nice job crowding Corey Hart on the inside corner. So many different off-speed pitches that Carlos will use, but everything's going to be away. From time to time, he will come inside, and did a good job of it against Hart. Corey just couldn't get the bat head out.
Well, Villanueva has settled this game down. Brewers scored 4 runs, all with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Villanueva came on to get the final out, stranding the bases loaded. And has only allowed the 1 base runner since, and that's Ramirez over at first. Ricky Weeks with 2 away. He was walked with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning on a very close pitch from Chavez. Ricky continues to set the pace for the Brewers in walks. That was his 42nd walk, and that is tied for 4th in the National League. So despite a 182 batting average, Weeks has an on-base percentage of .315.
Yeah, those statistics just don't jive, because if you're not swinging at pitches out of the strike zone, you're drawing your walks. You would figure that Ricky's batting average would be much, much better than it actually is.
Weeks has always been a guy to take a lot of pitches. And it has typically worked for him. An all-star for the first time last year. Weeks hit 20 homers in 118 games before he injured his ankle. That one's hit hard to left, and it is down, a base hit. Well, Weeks smokes another one. And the Brewers continue this 5th inning with 2 outs. 2 on now with 2 away for Martin Maldonado.
That 1-1 pitch. Villanueva tried to come inside on him again. Left it out over the plate. Tried to do the same thing to Ricky that he did to Hart. Jam him inside. He left it out over the plate, and Ricky hit it hard to the left.
So Weeks now with 8 hits in his last 16 at-bats. And it gives Maldonado a chance with 2 away. (4-2) Brewers. Blue Jays on a 2-run homer from Brett Lawrie in the 3rd inning took the lead. That was with 2 outs. And then Milwaukee answered with 4 in the bottom of the 3rd, all with 2 outs. Hitting coach Johnny Naron. Man, a few words. He's had his hands full this year trying to get young hitters coming up from the minor leagues, trying to settle them down, remember their mechanics. You talk to Johnny Naron about Aramis Ramirez and his slow start. He goes, there's not much I can say to Aramis Ramirez. He's put up the numbers his entire career. He knows what his swing is. He knows how to get out of it. The work comes in with some of these other guys like Martin Maldonado, and they're just trying to find their way at the big league level.
And Maldonado has said that Johnny Naron's helped him quite a bit. He's changed his mechanics on a couple of different things. It's not just mechanics, it's just approach. You know, what are you thinking up there at the plate? You're not going to find a more positive man than Johnny Naron. Everything coming out of his mouth is positive.
No, and it's not Pollyanna positive either. He's a guy that picks a strength, and you know, let's face it, there is so much negative in this game. It's a game of failure, and then there's the negativity that's on top of it when you're struggling, and all the thoughts you might have, and how am I going to get out of this slump? The pressure of playing in the big leagues. These guys know what they signed up for, but it's up to the coaching staff, especially a hitting coach. It's the toughest job in baseball. A big league hitting coach.
You know, a coach in general, I mean, your success and your longevity is based on what other guys do. Hitters do well. Hitting coach is considered to be good. Hitters don't do well. It's just the opposite, right? Shouldn't be that way, but it is. It's an outcome-based business, like every other.
Two and two to Maldonado. Well, he could deliver a big punch to the Blue Jays here. 2 on with 2 away. Villanueva taking his time, and he strikes him out. Villanueva, another backwards K. He has 4 strikeouts thus far. 2 left stranded. It's 4-2 Brewers.
I think when you have the type of stuff he has, I think it's internal. I think it's his stuff plays good enough against any lineup if he's hitting his spots and he's allowing that good stuff. to be able to relax and to be able to use that good stuff he has.
Ron Renicky commenting on Tyler Thornburg, and the question was, is he going to fight the internal demons today, or is it, stuff, and how does the stuff play in the major leagues? And it was a good answer. And so far, the early returns, Tyler Thornburg has been able to fight off that anxiety very well. 5 innings, just 2 runs allowed. Both of those runs on a 2-out, 2-run homer by Brett Lawrie, who leads off here in the 6th inning.
Well, the impressive thing for me is the fact that Thornburg has not walked anybody. And the first sign of nerves is when you're not able to throw strikes, particularly early in the ball game. He had 6 up, 6 down, although a double play helped him out in the first inning. But when you throw strikes in your major league debut, I mean, that says a lot about you. You're not nervous. You're on the attack, and he's been able to do that throughout.
2 balls and a strike on Lawrie. Brett Lawrie, since moving into the leadoff spot for the Blue Jays, with his 2 hits today, is hitting .339. Hits that one hard to center field. Gomez racing back, and he's got it. Carlos Gomez got a great jump. He was well positioned to start with, and Lawrie is retired.
And this guy can swing the bat, can he? That's very good opposite field power. We saw that last night, and this one slicing away from Gomez and able to haul it in front of the warning track. I should say in front of the wall. I'll tell you, he's got a nice swing. And he generates a lot of power.
Gomez makes it look easy in center field. So 1 gong. Here's Colby Rasmus. I'll tell you, if Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz could get 6 innings out of Thornburg, they would be ecstatic. There is some question about the Brewers bullpen tonight. Jose Veras having some leg cramping in Minneapolis. Don't know his availability this evening. And as that one's fouled back, Maldonado will give it a look. And as we check in with Drew Olson here, Drew, John Axford, he is, I don't know if he's available or not, or even here, but they had their 2nd child earlier today, so you could understand if he wasn't.
That's right, B.A. This is the point in the evening when late inning relievers usually head down to the bullpen. I don't know if we're going to be seeing John Axford. He's busy today. His son Jamison Aiden was born today. Jamison and wife Nicole are doing very well, but Ron Renicky wasn't sure if Axford was going to show up. If he can't, Frankie Rodriguez is going to get the opportunity to close out a ball game if it comes up.
Well, we're keeping our eye on that bullpen as Rasmus sends one high and deep right field. That is going to be gone. Colby Rasmus. Solo home run here in the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays are within a run.
Yeah, talking about a guy that can handle a fastball in. His first time up, he hit a line drive that hooked foul on a fastball in. Thornburg tries to come inside again. And check this out. Left it up. Looked like a changeup, actually. Left the changeup up. So both home runs allowed by Thornburg tonight have come on changeups.
And it'll be Jose Bautista. 4-3 Brewers. The lead cut to 1. And that one's pulled foul. Bautista. He can turn with the best of them, and he sends it way out of here, but on the wrong side of the foul pole. Well, there is a John Axford sighting out there, so that answers the question as he arrives into the bullpen. That one's driven deep to left, and Bautista has done it again. In consecutive nights, Bautista hits a game-tying homer. All even at 4. Back-to-back home runs by the heavy-hitting Blue Jays.
And that's what they do, just like the Brewers. Brewers a lot of home runs. The Toronto Blue Jays. One of the Yankees have hit more this year. And a fastball that got just a little bit too much of the plate. And check out Bautista. He's talking about buggy whipping a fastball. 93 miles an hour. And knocks it on out of here on the line, second deck. Quick hands for Bautista.
That's his 21st home run of the season. Ties it at 4. Rick Kranitz with a quick chat with Tyler Thornburg and Martin Maldonado. So Rasmus and Bautista join Brett Laurie with home runs here tonight. All of the runs produced by the Blue Jays with the home run ball. And we'll see if Thornburg can get through this 6th inning. Thornburg's spot in the batting order is due up second in the bottom of the 6th. You know, Renicky would love to get him through this frame for a number of reasons.
Power hitters just keep coming in this lineup, don't they? From the leadoff hitter all the way down to Kelly Johnson, the number 5 hitter.
Encarnacion has 18 home runs this season. He's down in the count, 0-2. Now with the home run tonight, Bautista joins Curtis Granderson for 3rd in the American League. Encarnacion is 5th in the league in the AL in homers, led by Adam Dunn with 23. Thornburg's last start in the minor leagues in Double-A was June 9th. Took a loss, his first and only loss in Double-A this year. Got an 8-1 record.
You can see why he's so successful in the minor leagues. He's got such a good changeup, and guys that can throw a changeup like that down in the minor leagues, they're going to have success. That's how Yovani Gallardo got through the minor leagues so well. That changeup, he doesn't throw it anymore.
Two and two to Encarnacion. Pitch number 92 for Thornburg. And that one's driven deep to left center. Encarnacion will watch that one fly way out of here. And it's 5-4. 3 consecutive home runs for the Blue Jays.
Blue Jays laying off the pitches out of the strike zone, particularly the changeup last couple of batters. And Thornburg coming in with fastballs. Here it is, right down the middle. Encarnacion hits it deep into left center, and he knew it.
And that'll be the last hitter that Thornburg faces in his major league debut. Started the 6th with a 4-2 lead, but back-to-back homers. Gets a nice ovation. And his first game in the big leagues comes to an end.
consecutive home runs, he finds himself down 5-4. For just $50, purchase 4 Terrace Reserve tickets to select Sunday home games and get 4 coupons for free hot dogs and small sodas. Family Day tickets are $12.50 each. Visit Brewers.com/Family Days.
Back-to-back home runs, 3 in a row by the Blue Jays. They are up 5-4. The new pitcher is Tim Dillard, and he'll take over with the Brewers trailing a run now. Kelly Johnson with 1 out. Able to check his swing. Thornburg goes 5 1/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. No walks, 2 strikeouts in his big league debut. Just couldn't quite get through that 6th inning. Got the first man out, but remember, Laurie hit the ball sharply and a nice over the shoulder catch by Gomez. And the next 3 batters go deep. One and 2 the count on Johnson.
And remember how we were talking when Thornburg was missing in the strike zone, he was missing down. That was not the case in the 6th inning. Perhaps all the adrenaline and all the excitement about his first start, maybe tired a bit. Got everything up in the zone.
First time the Blue Jays have hit 3 consecutive home runs since 2005. April 9th of 2005. Vernon Wells, Corey Koski, and Shea Hillenbrand. Right off the end of the bat. The only infielder on that side is Ramirez, and he takes care of Johnson. 2nd out. None of these were cheap either, partner. Started with Rasmus.
Yeah, change up in the strike zone, and Bautista a fastball down the middle up in the strike zone, and once again Encarnacion. Location down early in the game for Tyler Thornburg, but he got his pitches up in the 6th.
Well, 3 home runs last night for the Blue Jays. They have hit 4 tonight. And the top 4 batters in their lineup hitting home runs this evening. They do that. Only the Yankees have hit more home runs than the Toronto Blue Jays in all of baseball. Two outs for Escobar. Tapper over the mound. Going to be a tough play. Masonette bare hands, and the throw is late. Infield hit for Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar runs well, and once that ball got over the head of Tim Dillard, it was going to be a base hit. No question about it.
That is the 4th hit of the inning.
Escobar's first hit in this series.
So it'll be Rajay Davis, who is hitless tonight, 0 for 2. Toronto's left fielder. Three runs in the 6th. Dillard hoping to keep it at just 3. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 6th. The bottom of the order, Masonette will lead off, then the pitcher spot. And then you go back to the top of Nori Aoki. That one's in there for a strike. One and 2. Rajay Davis, a .261 hitter this year. Dillard has him down in the count, and he lays off. Not a bad idea to see if he'd chase another one. Bouncing ball, foul. Well, this inning started. Thornburg had a 4-2 lead. Looked like he was on his way to winning his major league debut. Giovanni Gallardo, the last Brewer to pick up a victory in his major league debut. That was back in '07. I'm sure he will sleep well tonight. You know, made some mistakes, but to get the first one out of the way, he actually showed a lot of promise. That is a big jump from Double-A to the big leagues. And he ran into the big bats of the Toronto Blue Jays. Runner goes, and that one's down and in. Dillard walks Davis.
Yeah, this Blue Jay lineup is tough to plow through 3 times. And not many teams are able to do it. Such power up and down this batting order. I mean, everybody. They got 94 home runs already this year. You're talking about the Blue Jays second in baseball. The Yankees with 101. 98 home runs for the Blue Jays, including the 4 tonight.
Oh, and Dillard has to be careful. The always amped up Brett Lawrie wants to see some more offense. Aaron Sebia takes a ball. Long inning. Brewers had a long bottom of the third when they scored 4 runs, chasing the starter Jesse Chavez, who lasted just 2 2/3, but he's been taken off the hook. A lot of discussion there between the pitching coach and the manager. That one is lined into left field, a base hit. Another run will score. Davis on his way to third. It's an RBI single for Aaron Sebia, and it's 6-4 Toronto.
Aaron Sebia, number 8 hitter, 3 for 3. He's got an RBI now. Check it out. Supposed to be away, ends up inside, and check out the Toronto catcher able to pull the hands in and hit it hard into left. Escobar scores. He reached on an infield hit with 2 outs.
Pinch hitter for the Blue Jays is David Cooper. Will come off the bench. 4 runs in for Toronto. Their lead is back up to 2. 6-4 on 9 hits. First and third for the Blue Jays. And strike 1 to Cooper. There is no activity in the Brewers bullpen. Renicky will let it ride with Tim Dillard. Well, this game has come to a grinding halt. You always worry about the infielders, position players in an inning like this.
Getting behind the count, throwing pitches out of the zone. The pace of the game slows a bit. Fielders have to figure out a way to stay on their toes, though.
Cooper had a single last night in a pinch hit appearance. And Dillard missing badly. 2-1. Dillard knows he's in a big spot, trying to keep his club in it. 6-4, the way the Brewers have swung the bat in this series. Getting into that Blue Jays bullpen. Right there in striking distance. As Dillard cross fires, he misses again. 3-1 now. Cooper in the driver's seat. Took a little off, and it's 3-2. Cooper was way out in front of that one.
Little breaking ball and a 3-1 count. Last thing you want to do is walk this guy, get Brett Lawrie.
Well,
both teams have batted around in this game.
Yep, this is the 9th batter of the inning for Toronto. Brewers batted around in the 3rd inning, brought 10 to the plate. 3-2 is bounced to Ramirez. And the throw is good. The inning is finally over. It was a long one. And it started with back-to-back homers. Rasmus, Bautista, and Encarnacion. 6-4 Toronto.
Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time.
Now, one of the hottest subjects at the Packers offseason workouts was how the team will keep all of its talented receivers happy. Paul Emick talked to several of them and quarterback Aaron Rodgers about the issue. You can read his story at foxsportswisconsin.com. So a brand new ball game here. The Blue Jays have the lead after a 4-run 6th inning. It is now 6-4, and last night's losing pitcher, Robert Coelho, is back on the mound once again tonight. Carlos Villanueva has a chance to win this game, pitching very well out of the bullpen for Toronto.
Yeah, 2 1/3 scoreless innings, able to get the game back to order for Toronto. And nine relievers down in the bullpen for the Toronto Blue Jays to start the night. 2 of them used already.
Jesse Chavez started, went 2 2/3. Villanueva 2 1/3 as Masonette leads off here in the bottom of the 6th. Brewers winning last night. Blue Jays had the early lead tonight in the top of the 3rd, but Milwaukee came back to take the lead with 4 in the bottom half. They've been able to answer at just about every turn in this series. After the Blue Jays had tied it up last night with that 3-run homer by Jose Bautista, Aramis Ramirez homered in the next half inning to give the Brewers the lead. There's a little flare, and that is going to fall. A base hit right off the knuckles. Edwin Masonette starts it with a single here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Brewers need base runners. Maybe somebody knock one out of here. Getting something going at the bottom of the order. Fastball in, tried to pull the hands in and get enough of it, and that's what he did. You saw how far down on the handle that baseball hit the bat. And just out of the reach of Kelly Johnson at second. Got in on him, but able to muscle it into right field.
Well, Masonette is aboard, and Renicky will bring on Niger Morgan. That's why it was imperative that Dillard finish that inning and keep the game in striking distance. You don't want to burn another pitcher. Dillard finished it. Now Morgan hits for him. If Renegade had to go get Tim Dillard and bring on a new pitcher, he would only be out there for the rest of that inning. But we did spot John Axford in the bullpen. Drew Olson reporting that there was some question whether he would be here or not. It's certainly his call after welcoming in his second child earlier today, as Morgan fouls it away. 0-2 the count to Nigel Morgan. Manny Parra preparing for the 7th. Nigel Morgan in a hole. 0-2 the count. He is 3 for 13 this year as a pinch hitter. And he slaps that one to left field. That's down fair. Bounces off the sidewall. And it's going to be a double for Nigel Morgan. And here we go.
Yep. Nigel Morgan continues to get that batting average up, coming in at .231. From where he started, he had a lot of work to do to get it up there. So the Brewers are in pretty good shape with the top of the order coming up. Nothing hit all that hard in this inning. A couple of flares to the opposite field. A hanging breaking ball, and Nigel able to just tuck it inside that third left field line. Almost hitting the chalk down there.
Nigel Morgan safe at second, safe and secure in New York Life. Visit to the mound by the Blue Jays pitching coach Bruce Walton. Coelho took the loss yesterday, gave up the home run to Ramirez. That was in the 7th inning. And now the Brewers quickly put up a threat on 2 flares. Now a base hit could tie it up, especially with the speed of Nigel Morgan at second base. Toronto has very good arms in the outfield, especially center field and right field. Bautista in right has one of the strongest arms in baseball. Not many run on him. And the Brewers didn't challenge his arm yesterday when they had a chance. So here's Aoki. Inside corner. Now Rajay Davis plays very shallow. He has the weakest arm, but he's so shallow he makes up ground. Colby Rasmus and Jose Bautista all throw it well.
Now Brewers are hoping it's not a sacrifice fly. They're looking for a big crooked number in this inning. Couldn't ask for a better start to the inning. Bottom of the order, 8 and 9 coming up. Second and third, nobody out for the leadoff hitter. Can't ask for anything better than that.
Oh, 0-2 to Aoki. And that one just missed. 95. Didn't miss by much either. Well, we figured it had the feel of a slug 'em out ball game. We've had a couple of them here in this series. The heavy hitting Blue Jays in town. Ready for a 1-2. Coelho deals and Aoki strikes out. That's a big out for Robert Coelho. One gone. Time to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Thornburg topping out at 96 here tonight. Jesse Chavez, who lasted just 2 2/3 at 94. Thornburg was great through 5 innings. Gave up just 2 runs. And the Blue Jays bit him in the 6th. So here's Gomez, who started the rally for the Brewers in the 3rd inning. Had a 2-out RBI double in that frame. At the plate, presented by Wendy's for Gomez. We had Doug Melvin on earlier in our broadcast, and he was talking about the plan moving forward for Gomez as far as coaching. You know, he's always had restrictions on him because he is so fast. Wherever he's been, whether it be the Mets or the Twins, tried to turn him into a punch hitter, a guy who could bunt. He is a good bunter. And I think the Brewers, and really Dale Swain was the one who brought the notion up that this guy has power. He's got power in his game. Let him be a power player, and that includes what he does offensively.
Yeah, don't try to make him something he's not.
Carlos Gomez hits the ball in batting practice as far as anyone. But there is a bit of a mechanical flaw in his swing when he tries to be that guy. So he's got enough power to go the other way.
Uppercut. A little bit of an uppercut. He does have good opposite field power when he stays on the baseball and tries to get on top of it.
It's an easy thing to see and talk about. It's another thing to do it against a big league pitcher. Well, he draws the walk. Boy, how about that? And John Farrell was so fast out of that dugout. He was walking as that pitch hit the catcher's mitt. To walk Gomez to face Ryan Braun with the bases loaded, Farrell has seen enough.
And that's going to be it. 6 walks now issued by the Toronto pitching staff. Boom, and here comes John Farrell.
That is one frustrated manager of the Blue Jays. So a walk to load the bases that gets the reigning MVP in the National League to the plate. We'll take a break, set up the new hurler when we come back. Do some sliding here before it's all over with. The Blue Jays have hit 4 homers tonight. The Brewers without one. They have the bases loaded with 1 out, trailing by 2, and Ryan Braun coming up. And the new pitcher is Jason Frazier out of the Blue Jays bullpen.
Only Francisco Cordero has appeared in more games than Frazier, who is the all-time leader in games pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays. That's saying something. Off to a pretty good season. Got a 365 earned run average. A strikeout pitcher. More strikeouts than innings pitched.
That's exactly what the Blue Jays are hoping for here. But the Brewers send up their best hitter with 1 out and a chance to get back what they lost in the 4-run Blue Jays 6th inning. Braun with 3 grand slams in his career, a .309 hitter. When batting with the bases loaded. Sitting on 19 homers. Frazier began his career with the Blue Jays. He spent 8 years with them before being sent to the White Sox last year. But he was quick to return to Toronto. 34-year-old right-hander. He's given up 2 homers this season. Braun's faced him once and went deep against him. That was back in interleague play when the Blue Jays were here in 08. Masonette at third base had a flare single. Morgan with a double to the opposite field. Gomez drew the walk. One and two on Ryan Braun.
Yeah, good one to hit right there from Brawny, right down the middle, 93 miles an hour. Frazier features a slider and a changeup that acts like a splitter. And that was a very hittable fastball for Ryan Braun.
Blue Jays got 2 in the third. Brett Laurie hit a 2-run homer. Brewers answered with 4 in the bottom of the third to take the lead. And then 3 consecutive homers back to back to back. Rasmus Bautista and Encarnacion in the 6th. They added 1 on an RBI by Aaron Sebia. 6-4 Toronto. 1 and 2 with the bases loaded. Braun looks at ball 2. Braun tonight has a single and a walk. He scored a run. He's 1 for 2. Throughout his career, he's had some of his most memorable moments, done some of his best work with 2 strikes and a count. The 2-2. Braun looks at ball 3.
Good pitch. Looked like a little cutter off the outside corner. Braun able to lay off of it. That's a tough pitch to take.
Pitch. Braun pulls it foul. And they rev it up all over again here at Miller Park. Braun's hit more homers, driven in more runs than at this time last season. If you compare the games played this year and last year's MVP season. Tied with Beltran for the National League lead in home runs with 19. Time run at second. Brewers down a pair. 3-2 pitch, and Braun walks. Ball 4. And another bases loaded walk issued by the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's 3 bases loaded walks, including a hit batter that scored a run. Well, Braun got down in the count quickly. And Frazier got him to a 1-2 count. There's a pitch that Ryan would like to have back. And then Ryan becomes very patient at the plate. There's a tough pitch right off the outside corner. Stays alive, and then Frazier misses a sinker down and in.
You think you get ahead of him. You got him where you want him. He just has such a great eye. Braun draws the walk. Now Ramirez, a hot hitter lately, swinging away at the first pitch. Ramos had 3 hits yesterday. Had the decisive home run in yesterday's game on a ball that was originally ruled as a foul ball. Overturned after the replay. The first time a call has been overturned in the history of Miller Park. And it was to the Brewers' advantage. Ramirez has a chance to do it in consecutive nights. There's a swing and a drive. Deep left center. Ramirez knows he's got it. A grand slam. grand slam number 10 for Aramis Ramirez. He stays hot, and the Brewers have a 9-6 lead. Take a bow.
Yeah. Two pretty healthy hacks off of Frazier in that at bat. Boy, 2 pitches. A no doubter for Aramis Ramirez. Wow.
Corey Hart takes a strike. What a moment here at Miller Park. And Ramirez barely showing a heartbeat after what has to be his best moment as a Brewer so far. Gives the Crew the lead once again.
No, he's heating up just like he has every year around this time.
Braun drew the walk. Ramirez did what a cleanup hitter should do. He cleaned him up. Grand slam home run to make it 9-6 as Corey Hart strikes out. Second out of the inning.
And check it out. Second pitch of the at bat, a high fastball, and Ramirez knew it right away. Dropped the bat, looked in the Brewers dugout, and then made the happy jog around the bases.
What a swing.
Stay hot.
He could enjoy this one. No reviewable home run replay necessary for Aramis Ramirez tonight. 5-run bottom of the 6th. Every time the Blue Jays have scored in this series, the Brewers have answered in both games so far.
Well, we talked about it on our open tonight. The fact that the guys behind Ryan Braun starting to swing the bat, that's just going to help Ryan. Ryan shows patience at the plate, draws a bases loaded walk, and then Ramirez comes up with the big hit. If Braun knows that production is coming behind him, he will be patient at the plate. How about 7 walks for the Blue Jays tonight? 4 of them have scored.
The Blue Jays have issued walks 3 times with the bases loaded. They've also hit a batter with the bases loaded. 2 balls and a strike on Ricky Weeks. Fans exhausted from this game. This has been one of those games for pitchers with constant impending doom. Yeah, don't turn your back on the Blue Jays. There's a lot of baseball to be played yet.
This is certainly the game of the big inning.
As Weeks strikes out, inning over. But Aramis Ramirez making a big memory here at Miller Park. A grand slam home run. 9th home of the year. 10th career grand slam. 9-6 Milwaukee.
game summary has been the game of the big inning. The Blue Jays got it going with a Brett Laurie 2-run home run, and the Brewers coming right back. Tyler Thornburg with a double, Gomez with a double, and then a hit batter and back-to-back walks, a 4 spot for Milwaukee. Brewers had a 4-2 lead going into the 6th inning until the Blue Jays erupted with 3 consecutive home runs. They took a 6-4 lead. And then once again, the Brewers coming right back. Every time the Blue Jays have scored, the Brewers have answered with a 5-run 6, capped off by an Aramis Ramirez grand slam.
Well, who's next out of that pen? Manny Parra will get the call for Milwaukee as he enters this game in the 7th. 27th appearance for the left-hander. Brewers back up 3. Top of the order coming up against Parra. Brett Laurie will lead off. He'll be followed by Rasmus and then Bautista.
Now, the big inning is not all that unusual in a game, but for both teams to have the big inning in the same inning is somewhat unusual.
Yeah. 9 runs scoring in the 6th inning. Blue Jays got 4. They had back-to-back-to-back homers. Brewers answer with 5. And Laurie takes a strike. Close pitch. You made a good point, though, about Ryan Braun, that at bat. You know, maybe if it's earlier in the year and Ramirez is a struggling hitter still, Braun goes out of his strike zone a little bit to try to drive in some runs, but it's not the case now with Ramirez. He is red hot, and Braun was content to draw the walk.
That's just human nature. I mean, if you're Ryan Braun and you're the MVP, you are expected to drive into runs. If you don't think the other guys are going to do it, you're going to expand your strike zone. That's just the way it goes. But Ryan Braun showing good patience on that full count with the bases loaded, knowing that Ramirez has been swinging the bat.
Laurie into right field. Aoki playing deep and will run it down. Everything he hits is hard, even his outs. 1 gone in the 7th inning. Take you back to our AT&T trivia question. Prior to the season, who are the last pair of Brewers pitchers to make their first MLB start in the same season? One of them is on the mound right now.
Well,
Manny Parra and Giovanni Gallardo. And Gallardo is scheduled to pitch tomorrow.
and just like Tyler Thornburg, Gallardo got a base hit in his first start.
Here's Colby Rasmus. The fact that Parra is pitching here in the 7th gives you what you need to know about Jose Veras at this point. He's not game ready.
On the shelf right now, or at least you think he is. Hurt himself on Sunday in Minnesota.
Dealing with some cramping in the legs, which on that day, on Sunday, which created a lot of soreness. And I did see Veras throwing the baseball earlier today with bullpen coach Stan Kiles.
And he did it actually trying to get off the mound, covering first base on a ground ball against the Twins.
Fired muscles that didn't want to fire.
Right. That was a long day for everybody. Stiffen up a little bit.
How'd you come out in the booth? You did some standing, did some calisthenics?
I was disappointed. Brewers lost. Other than that, it was a good day.
Rasmus slightly off the end of the bat. Gomez coming in. And there's the second out. Now set your compass due north on Fox Sports Wisconsin. This week on Due North Outdoors, it's an adventure to one of Bill Shirk's favorite secret bass haunts. I like that. Watch Due North Outdoors Thursday, 6:30 p.m. only on Fox Sports Wisconsin. So Bill Shirk has a favorite secret bass haunt.
It's nice of him to give it away. I wouldn't.
Jose Bautista with 2 away. Brewers going back and forth with that big infield shift. All three infielders on the right side for Rasmus. They all run over to the left side for Bautista.
Man, very rarely does Bautista hit the ball to the opposite field, particularly on the ground, but even more importantly in the air. He is a dead pull hitter.
What an amazing turnaround to a career, Jose Bautista. Never thought of as a home run hitter. Had a hard time sticking on a roster as he walks on 4 straight.
3 years ago, almost got released by the Blue Jays. Had a pretty good September in 09. In 2010, 2011 went crazy. 50 home run season in 2010.
And those who cover the Blue Jays would tell you his home run stroke really started. Cito Gaston was the manager of the Blue Jays at the time, and Bautista started with a left leg kick. He got close to the plate and started thinking pull, and that's when the home run started to come at a record-setting pace. As Manny Parra has fallen behind Encarnacion 2-0. I see a very similar trend with Encarnacion. He's always been a guy who could hit the long ball. We saw that in Cincinnati.
And he is up on top of the plate now too. He wasn't before.
Exactly. Colby Rasmus has made the same kind of transition. Rasmus is on top of the plate and forward in the box these days, right off his foot.
And when you see a guy in a setup like that, you determine how close he is to the plate by his back foot. The front foot's going to move. He's got his back foot set in a specific spot. For instance, Encarnacion right on that white line. He's got that front foot open a little bit. That front foot's going to move toward home plate. So you watch that front foot or that back foot if you're catching. You're Maldonado saying that he's going to be right on top of the plate when he's in position to swing.
Fouls that one away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And what it means for a power hitter, very few of Encarnacion's home runs go to right. Same case with Bautista, but they can reach that outside pitch and pull it.
Yes, he doesn't even close up. That gives you more of an indication that he's going to pull the baseball.
2-2 to Encarnacion. 2 outs in the inning. And a good block back there by Maldonado. Manny Parra, more than any other pitcher on the Brewer staff, will challenge a catcher with pitches in the dirt with that splitter. When Manny Parra was a starting pitcher, there was a year when he led the National League in wild pitches. Runner goes, line drive left field, base hit. Bautista on his way to third. Braun's throw coming in, and it gets away. That one's going to bounce off the back wall. Bautista will score.
Yeah, that's an unnecessary throw to third base. Well, you're up by 3 runs. You just get that ball into second to keep Encarnacion at first base. That's going to be an error on Ryan Braun. And you really can't fault Manny Parra because he was backing up third base, just wasn't in a very good spot. 3-2 pitch. Encarnacion rips it into left. Ryan Braun's only play really with a 3-run lead is going to second base. That ball eats up Aramis Ramirez, and a run scores, and now the tying runs at home plate.
So a single for Encarnacion. E7 on Braun, his 4th error of the year. And here's Kelly Johnson. Takes strike 1 from Parra. Pitchers beware tonight. 0-2 the count. Parra needs a big out. At this point, the run is unearned. Could keep it that way if he gets Johnson. 0-2 to the Blue Jays second baseman, and swing and a miss. The ball skips into the stands.
Man.
And it's going to be a strikeout, a wild pitch that will allow Johnson to reach, and the inning continues.
And that's not something you see from Martin Maldonado very often, a ball getting by him. A split-fingered fastball in the dirt. You know it's going to be down there in the dirt. And the inning continues, as you mentioned. He got in front of it, but just wasn't able to square himself up very well, and that one hopped into the seats.
So it is a strikeout for Parra, but a wild pitch that allows Johnson to first. First and third now. The tying run is aboard. Go ahead run at the plate, and Yunel Escobar. Escobar with his first hit of the series, an infield hit in the 6th inning. Hit a little tapper right over the mound. And it's 2-0. And Rick Kranitz is on his way out. Now, while we have a moment here, we want to send out our best wishes to Judith McNally, who is hospitalized at the Aurora Clinic in Grafton. Judith is a Brewers scoreboard operator employee, Troy Jakubowski's mother-in-law. So Troy's mother-in-law, Judith, we send you our best. Hope for quick healing.
Yeah.
Kranitz has had his say. This is the kind of game that makes an old man out of a manager and a pitching coach quickly. Escobar down the right field line, slicing foul.
And you have 5 walks that you have issued that have come around to score that are responsible for 5 of the 16 runs scored in the ball game. That does get you old quickly. The base on balls.
2-2 to Escobar. Blue Jays took a 2-run lead with 4 in the 6th. The Brewers got 5 in the bottom of the 6th, and a grand slam by Ramos Ramirez, but one is in here in the 7th on a throwing error. First and third, Encarnacion at third base with Kelly Johnson at first. 2-2. Parra deals, and a line drive base hit left field. Another run is in. And you wonder how much the wild pitch was in the mind of Parra. He left that one up in the zone. Escobar makes him pay, and it is 9-8.
The last couple innings, that third out has become very difficult for every pitcher that's been out there. As you mentioned, a high split-fingered fastball up around the mid-thigh area, and Escobar knocks it into left. So Brewers' mistakes have cost the Brewers a couple of runs. Defensive errors.
Parra started this inning by retiring the first 2 hitters. Rajay Davis now. Tying run at second base. There's strike 1 from Parra. Oh, what a strange ball game tonight. When that bullpen phone rings, you got a bunch of pitchers heading for the exits. That one gets by Maldonado. So now runners at second and third on a wild pitch.
Yeah, that one not even close. And Manny looking pretty good the first 2 hitters, but since that walk to Jose Bautista, things have not gone very well. as Cameron Lowe gets loose in the bullpen. Cameron's been getting a lot of work lately. He's pitched in back-to-back games.
And Lowe gave up the home run yesterday to Bautista. Now a base hit. The Blue Jays can take the lead as Davis fouls it off. 1-2. I suspect for Manny Parra, this is a spot you just have to let it fly.
And bury the split finger pitch, but Maldonado has done a good job blocking the ball since he's gotten called up.
1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Blue Jays with runners at second and third. 2 runs are in. And Parra deals a 2-2. Missed again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Got to make a pitch now. 3-2. And Davis able to foul it off. Davis drew a walk in the 6th inning. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Two runs in for the Blue Jays. And Parra trying to end it. The 3-2, swing and a miss. And this inning is over. It was a wild ride for Manny Parra, but he'll exit with the Brewers still in the lead.
Time for our social media hit here at Miller Park. And of course, Rock, your tweets are going out just fine right now. More than 1,700 followers in less than 24 hours for Rock at Brewer Fan Camp is his Twitter handle. And Rock, you tweeted out the instructional tonight. You're going to take a look at that Ramirez home run, the grand slam swing, pulling the hands in. What you see there, and what are you guys going to explore during the instructional?
Well, we're going to talk about the importance of allowing the hip. They say hips, then hands, then bat. And that's how you get to a pitch inside. If you try and swing your way to contact on a pitch in, you're just going to get jammed on the handle. And Davey and I are going to walk you through that tonight.
No matter what you do, you won't be having as good a night as Terry out there celebrating his 60th birthday. So Coco Cordero the next victim on the mound. Nobody has escaped this one without some damage. Carlos Villanueva has had the best night of any of the pitchers so far.
Pitched last night, a hit and a couple of strikeouts.
There's a liner right to Laurie. Maldonado is out. Hit it hard, but right at the Blue Jays third baseman. So this will be under the spotlight in the instructional. Aramis Ramirez.
You see right there the belt buckle, that the hips lead the bat through the strike zone, then the hands take over. You can see why his hands are very close to the body. I mean, right down the middle. If you extend the hands out in this direction, you're just going to get jammed.
There's Rock.
See the way I pulled the hands in there?
That was nice.
There's Davey.
That hurt, didn't it?
Pulling the hands in, or
swinging that bat for that promo.
Yeah, well, it's all right. Got to play hurt sometimes.
I'm telling you. Brewers know all about that.
Yeah.
Edwin Masonette, it was his base hit that started the rally in the 6th inning. Brewers lead by a run, 9-8. That lead's been exchanged 4 times tonight. But each inning the Blue Jays scored, the Brewers answered back. Same case yesterday. Masonette got a little big league time with the Astros in 2008-2009. He's one of the many players that are currently on the major league roster that were not on the major league roster nor the 40-man roster to start the season.
Yep, spring training invites. There have been 6 of them this year from Milwaukee. That's a lot.
Had to purchase 6 contracts.
Right.
On the transaction wire. Taylor Green will hit next. Young Canadian can't wait to get his chance against the Blue Jays as Masonette goes back up the middle and a base hit. So Edwin Masonette starting to bring a little lumber to the ballpark the last couple of nights. 2 hits in this game. He's 2 for 4 and a 1-out base runner for Green.
Got the batting average at 250 now and a fastball in. Pulling the hands in, if you will, and able to get enough of the bat on the baseball to bang it into center. You let those hands drift, you're just going to get jammed on pitches inside. You got to keep the hands close to the body to allow the barrel of the bat to get to it.
Taylor Green pulled back, and it's going to be George Kataris. Ron Renicky knew he wanted a Canadian to hit. He just wasn't sure which one. So from Green to Kataris. And I guess the scenario changed with Masonette aboard.
Looking for some pop. Maybe knock one out of here. The Masonette able to keep those hands close to the body. Hips popping open. Hands drifted out a little bit more than the Ramirez home run. That's why he got it down in the trademark just a little bit. You get those hands a little bit closer, you're going to barrel it up. Still a pretty good swing.
And it results in a base hit. So George Kataris, a chance off the bench, has been very good this year off the bench. George is 5 for 14 as a pinch hitter. A .357 average. Has 1 homer and 5 RBIs. Overall, he's hit 3 home runs and 10 ribbies. He was the starter last night with Randy Wolf on the mound. Masonette takes off. That one's hit well right center. That is way back there. Doesn't have enough. Rasmus in and out of his glove. It's down. Masonette on his way to third. He'll stop there. And Kataris is in with a double. George almost ran past Masonette.
Well, you got to keep your head up and make sure you don't touch the guy in front of you or you're out, let alone passing him. Well, George got that one out on the end of the bat just a little bit. That's a ball that Rasmus has got to catch. That was in his glove. The ball actually hit the wall, so it wouldn't have been an out. Once it hits the wall, it hits the wall right there. And after that, you can't catch it and record it out. Masonette doing a good job understanding what's going on. He gets to third base.
Second and third. Good base running by Masonette. It really was. He had to stop. He had to get a gauge on what was happening out there. And then was able to get restarted again. Kataris able to roll in with a double. Brewers threaten. 9-8 Milwaukee. Bottom of the seventh. Infield in. As Aoki is at the plate and the Blue Jays expecting a bunt. Masonette has proved to be an excellent base runner.
He was stealing on the pitch. Looked like a hit and run. He saw what was going on, saw it hit the wall, and able to touch second base and get to third. You know, the other guy that did a pretty good job. A lot of guys are going to hit that baseball and watch what's going on in the outfield, really not pay attention.
Aoki bounces to first. And a big second out for Cordero with the infield in. Aoki cannot deliver the run.
Yeah, rough day at the office for Aoki, 0 for 5.
They remain at second and third. 2 outs now. It's going to be Carlos Gomez. Gomez rewarded today with some early work before the game. You like to see that. Had a key double and an RBI in the third inning. That started the 4-run inning. He then walked in the 6th inning. And he pops this one up. Francisco Cordero is going to get out of the inning. The Brewers let one get away, stranding runners at second and third. Still 9-8 Milwaukee.
Here as we take on the Blue Jays on Wednesday. Partly sunny skies overhead. Game time temperature at 90 degrees. Winds will be out of the south between 12 to 25 miles per hour.
Yes, bring your sunscreen tomorrow for the day game. Scorcher. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? 12:30 is airtime tomorrow. First pitch just after 1 o'clock. Gallardo on the mound against to be announced for the Blue Jays. And then Thursday is an off day. Friday begins a series with the Chicago White Sox. First place in the American League Central. That'll be on the south side at U.S. Cellular Field. Well, we have arrived in the 8th inning already. And K-Rod is on to pitch. So Renicky has been able to weave through this game and get to his best 2 relievers at the end of a game with a lead.
And K-Rod threw a scoreless inning last night. He gave up a base hit, but eliminate that base hit with a double play ball. 35th appearance for K-Rod. That leads the Brewers.
Teams combining for 17 runs on 20 hits thus far. This one in the hands of the bullpen right now. Tim Dillard is in line for the win. He came in relief of Tyler Thornburger, made his major league debut tonight, went 5 1/3, gave up 5 runs. Was going well through 5 and then ran into big trouble in the 6th, giving up back-to-back homers from the Blue Jays. Blue Jays took the lead at that time. But an Aramis Ramirez grand slam put the Brewers back on top. J.P. Arancibia had an RBI in that 4-run 6th inning. Had an RBI single. And it came with 2 outs.
What a difference a night makes. Arancibia 0 for 3 last night, a couple of strikeouts. He got pinch hit for late in the game. And today he's 3 for 3, and he gets the hit here in the 8th.
You can stay, kid. Blue Jays very high on this young catcher. Hit some big home runs for Toronto last year. K-Rod staying in on him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
He's been hitting the ball all over the diamond tonight. Base hit the center, double to right, base hit the left.
Arancibia hit 23 home runs last year. Brewers first base coach Garth Ord's very familiar with Arancibia. Played his college ball at Tennessee with Garth's son. Oh, a spinner in there for a strike. He buckled his knees. He got the call from Alan Porter, and Arancibia is barking on his way out. A strikeout for K-Rod.
It started way in off the inside corner, and then with a late break, able to perhaps catch the edge. Let's check it out. Looked like it might have been inside. Rodriguez getting a break on that call.
Maldonado holds it right there for Alan Porter. Arancibia might have had a beef.
Yeah.
So 1 gone. It's going to be Omar Vizquel. He'll pinch hit here. 45-year-old utility man these days. One of the greatest shortstops in the history of the game. Extending his career to a 24th season, Vizquel, as he takes a strike from K-Rod.
Had a couple of hits in last night's game. Vizquel hasn't played all that much, only 52 at bats this year.
Serves that one into right field, and Aoki runs it down for the out. Vizquel just playing a little pepper. It didn't have much on it, and Aoki had to hustle to get there. 2 gone in the inning. Now back to the top of the order, and Brett Lawrie. 2 for 4 tonight. Had 2 hits yesterday. He's homered in his first 2 games at Miller Park. Both of his outs tonight have been line drive outs. So he's had 4 hard hit balls. Brett Lawrie hitting .291 now.
Yeah, this is a stretch of 5 consecutive hitters that each and every one of them can take you out of the ballpark. One mistake and this game's tied.
Well, the fact that K-Rod is in the 8th, we spotted John Axford, whose wife delivered their 2nd child earlier today.
It's probably the most relaxed he's been in a month.
That's right. You're right about that, actually. It's been a tough couple of weeks here for the Axfords. Maybe tough month even. But Drew Olson reported baby's healthy, mom is healthy, and Axford back at work. Renicky did not expect Axford to show up tonight, but he's here. And if the Brewers stay in the lead, he'll be on for another save opportunity. Picked up a save last night. 2-1 to Laurie. Strike. Fastball in there. Surprised him.
Yeah, he was looking breaking ball, wasn't he? Or changeup. Haven't seen a changeup from K-Rod yet in this inning.
Two and two. What does he give him here?
Changeup.
And too far away, too far in the dirt. Laurie doesn't bite.
For a changeup to be effective, it has to be over the plate. It can be down, but it has to be over the plate. That one never had a chance to be over the plate. Hitter's not going to swing at it.
Full count. 9-8 Brewers, 8th inning. Brett Laurie at the plate with 2 away, and K-Rod deals a swing and a miss. Laurie strikes out. Francisco Rodriguez with a couple of Ks in a 3-up, 3-down 8th inning.
To the ball game, full reaction, but I'll tell you what an unusual offensive night for the Brewers. 4 runs scoring via the walk or hit batter in this game, and then 4 on one swing of the bat. Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment goes to Aramis Ramirez.
Boy, it certainly does, and what a great job. He made my nugget look good, saying that he's heating up, but he took that pitch on the inside part of the plate, brought his hands in, which we're going to demonstrate on the instructional, and he took it out, 4 RBIs right there.
All right, looking forward to that, Davey. And a big setup, BA, just before the Ramirez home run to kind of set the stage.
Yeah, it really was. It was Ryan Braun, and he was batting with the bases loaded. That is our Pizza Hut delivery of the game tonight. And Braun, knowing that Ramirez is hot, he got down to 2 strikes quickly, but was able to work a walk off of Frazier. Got an RBI for his effort, and that set up the dramatic home run by Aramis Ramirez. And the patient Ryan Braun, maybe in another spot of the season, maybe in April when Ramirez was struggling, you might have seen a Braun go out of the strike zone, chase a little bit, but not tonight.
Particularly that 2-2 pitch, that cutter that just barely missed the outside corner. A pitch like that, I mean, so close, called off the plate, and ended up costing the Blue Jays 5 runs. One pitch that missed the strike zone by a half an inch.
Darren Oliver is the new Blue Jays pitcher, the 6th of the night. Jesse Chavez, the starter, logged the most outs. He went 2 2/3 innings. Villanueva 2 1/3 scoreless. Then Coelho and Frazier gave up those 5 runs in the 6th inning.
Well, because each and every one of them pitched at most 1 inning, except from Villanueva, they'll still be available tomorrow. And Carlos might be able to come back.
It's an old baseball term when you have a game like the Blue Jays have set up tomorrow. When you ask who's pitching, they say Johnny Holstaff. As Braun lines one, caught by Encarnacion. Now Braun has had a couple of hits taken away tonight. 1 for 3 at the plate, and here comes Ramirez to a big ovation. Powerball home run number 9, the grand slam in the 6th inning. 7 of those 9 home runs have come in his last 22 games. So if you check his last 22, he's hitting .337, 7 homers, 23 runs batted in.
Yeah, he's up to 42 RBIs. Batting average up to .264 from where he started before he got into this hot stretch. That's pretty good work for a short period of time.
Oh, and 2 to Ramirez. He lines it foul. Now Ramirez's batting average bottomed out at .218 once he had enough at bats to really matter. But then he has turned it on in his last 22. In the air to center field, had him out in front, and it's out number 2 for Darren Oliver. Well, Tyler Thornburg got his first major league hit tonight in his first at bat. Our Ho Chunk Gaming text question: what impressed you about Tyler Thornburg's major league debut? And I assume he's talking about on the mound. He was great at the plate, but Kiki is asking about his performance on the hill.
The fact that first inning, second inning, able to come out and throw strikes, good quality strikes. Showed a good changeup as we figured he would, but enough poise and was calm enough to be able to throw his off-speed pitches for strikes early.
And the Brewers offense taking him off the hook. We'll hope to hear from Tyler Thornburg tonight after his major league debut. 5 good innings for Thornburg. He was rolling along, had a lead going into the 6th, got the first out in the 6th inning, and then could not get another out after the 3 consecutive homers by the Blue Jays. But the Brewers offense covered him. 0-2 to Hart. This is a little bit low, 1-2. It will be interesting moving forward. The Brewers have an off day Thursday, and Marco Estrada is, as Doug Melvin told us earlier, probably a start, maybe 2 starts away from returning to the big leagues. So it's conceivable that the Brewers would need that extra starter. Thornburg is the 8th starting pitcher used by the Brewers this year. It's kind of the story. Last year they only needed 6 starters all season. One and 2 to Hart. 2-2. Corey is hitless in a hitter-friendly game tonight, but he did get credit for an RBI when he was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 3rd. And down he goes. A 1-2-3 inning for Darren Oliver. So here we go to the 9th. 9-8. The Axeman cometh for a save. 9-8. The Brewers have the lead, and we have arrived in the 9th now. K-Rod worked a scoreless 8th inning, the first Brewer pitcher to get through unscathed. And our Columbia St. Mary save tracker, John Axford, number 12. He picked up number 12 last night. He is going to have to go through the heart of the Blue Jays order. What a day it's been for John Axford, his second son, Jameson, born earlier today. And knowing the way John Axford thinks, he's probably thinking, I got a chance to get a save on my son's birthday. That's a great way to bring him into the world.
Understand everybody is resting comfortably. And you know that John Axford's feeling a lot better these days.
Colby Rasmus leads off, squares to bunt, takes a strike. Well, it's going to be Rasmus, Bautista, and Encarnacion, the heavy hitters, and the 3 hitters who went back to back to back in the 6th inning. Axford had a clean inning last night, 3 up, 3 down. I want to send our best out to Nicole. John Axford admitted that his poor pitching probably brought young Jameson into the world a little earlier than he had hoped. A couple of scares with Nicole, but I'm sure he is resting easy now that everybody's healthy and doing well. Axford grew up outside Toronto. Grew up a Blue Jays fan. One of a number of Canadians on this roster. And Axford misses high, 3-1.
Now first pitch for John Axford, right down the middle, had good velocity on it, and the last 3 have not really come close to the strike zone. And all fastballs so far for John Axford.
Rasmus rips one deep right field. That is well hit, and that is a home run for Colby Rasmus. A game tire down in the corner, and it's 9-9.
They're talking about pulling the hands in and keeping one fair down the right field line. That's Colby Rasmus, who just tied it up. Number 12 for Rasmus. Check out this pitch. That ball almost hit him. I mean, that's a perfect example of pulling the hands in for a hitter, not just to make contact, but to keep it fair. A line drive right down the right field line, just barely getting over that wall.
Yeah, hit the top of the wall and bounced out of here. That is hidden from our view, that corner. So a blown save for John Axford. That's his 4th blown save of the season. Now Bautista.
Well, that's a nearly impossible. You would think that's a nearly impossible pitch to keep fair. That ball nearly hit him. Not only did he hit it, but he hit it hard enough to get it out of here and kept it fair. Good piece of hitting.
Well, it has been that kind of game. Axford doing all he can now to try to keep it tied at 9.
And check out what his pitch is. I mean, look at it. I mean, that pitch is a good 4 inches inside, but look at Colby Rasmus where his hands are. And still having enough power to get it out of here.
Rasmus has made a major adjustment at the plate. He's gone back to what he used to do as an amateur. He has scooted up in the box, and that has made all the difference for Colby Rasmus. And he's able to get to that fastball, even a John Axford fastball. And
sometimes the slightest adjustments make a big difference.
He is thriving in that 2-hole, hitting in front of Bautista. That's for sure. Bautista drills one right field. That is way back and gone. He doesn't hit many to right field. The Blue Jays now have the lead. It's 10-9 Toronto as Bautista hits his 2nd of the game.
6 home runs now for Toronto. Boy. You're right. I mean, Bautista very rarely hits one to right field, but that was a no-doubter out there off the facing of the second deck out there by the Miller Lite beer pen. Axford got one up out over the plate, and Bautista went right with it and knocked it out of here.
Well, he hit it a ton too. So back-to-back homers for the second time tonight for the Blue Jays. 10-9 Toronto. 2 runs are in. Rasmus and Bautista. Well, these guys are something else with the home run ball.
That's now 100 home runs for the Blue Jays.
6 tonight. 2 by Rasmus, 2 by Bautista. Red Laurie and Edwin Encarnacion. Ten runs on 13 Toronto hits. Encarnacion hit the third of the back-to-back homers in the 6th inning. His second home run of the series. Well, every time the Blue Jays have scored, the Brewers have been able to answer. They're going to have to do it one more time to win this one.
And you got to keep it right here at 10-9. Still nobody out.
Axford had a couple of blown saves on the last road trip. Renicky had it set up where he wanted it. Had his top 2 relievers in the game with a lead. K-Rod worked a scoreless 8th. Axford has given up back-to-back homers here in the 9th. 3-2 pitch. Encarnacion strikes out. How about that hack with 2 strikes?
Yeah, well, with a slider and kind of a backup slider, Encarnacion just tied himself all up and swung right through it.
Not exactly a 2-strike approach.
No, none of them really.
I mean, that is as aggressive as you can do it. Encarnacion comes up empty. But the Blue Jays haven't come up empty very often tonight. That's been the problem. As Kelly Johnson takes a ball. Johnson is hitless tonight. He did reach on a wild pitch after he had struck out. A swing and miss. Manny Parra skipped one in the dirt. Only K-Rod tonight among the Brewer pitchers pitching an inning without giving up a run. Thornburg gave up 5. Dillard an earned run. Parra gave up 2. And now Axford has given up 2 in the 9th. Out to Ricky Weeks. And there is out number 2 for Axford. You think about Bautista in this series, and we talked about him yesterday when we hit the air. You know, he's hit 3 home runs in this series. 2 of them have tied the game, and the one here in the 9th has given the Blue Jays the lead. Meaningful late home runs from Bautista.
Yeah. And when they count the most against the best. Well, both teams live and die with a home run ball tonight. 6 for Toronto. The Brewers have gotten 1, but it was a big one.
Yunel Escobar ahead in the count 2-0. And Axford deals him a strike. Now it certainly puts in perspective the tremendous run Axford had, saving 49 consecutive games.
Hey, we were talking about that in Kansas City, how unbelievable a stretch like that is, with all of the crazy things can happen to you in an inning, to give up a run, to lose a lead. That's how good he was last year. He's showing that he's human this year.
Blue Jays with a season high 6 homers. It had been 5. They did it against the Mets last month. 2-2 pitch. Escobar fouls it away. Axford now with his 4th blown save of the season. That's his 3rd, though, in his last 5 outings. Blue saves in back-to-back games in Kansas City last week. Escobar into center field. Gomez will run it down. So the inning is over, but back-to-back home runs from Rasmus and Bautista. Do the Brewers have one more comeback in them? They're down a run. Between an ending and a finish. Endings are imposed and inflicted. A swing and a miss, inning over. And John Axford saves another one. Finishes are earned and celebrated. Morgan tags. Here comes a throw. And Morgan slides. Save! It's the last word. The closing act. The final step. The whole point. We don't remember the start. We never forget the finish. And there's a swing and a drive to right. And it's going back there. Now we'll see if the Brewers have a finish in them tonight, as Casey Jansen, the Blue Jays closer, is on to work. Ricky Weeks leads off. Milwaukee down a run. A 2-run ninth for the Blue Jays. Jansen has blown 1. He has been terrific in the bullpen since taking over that closer's role. 6 saves for Toronto. 6 for 6 since assuming the closer's role full time.
And he's only given up 2 earned runs over his last 18 games. So he has been throwing the baseball well, throwing a lot of strikes.
Blue Jays were counting on Sergio Santos to close games for him this year. He's injured. And Jansen stepped in. He's pitched well as Weeks takes strike 2. Now the Brewers at the bottom of their order. Ricky Weeks followed by Martin Maldonado. And then Masonette scheduled to hit. Down a run, bottom 9. Slow roller, and that will roll foul. This has been a long, long night here at the ballpark.
Yes, it has. A lot of offense. 19 runs, but only 22 hits. 19 runs, and neither team all that many opportunities with runners in scoring position. The Brewers are 2 for 8. Blue Jays only 2 for 5. So a lot of the damage has come by the walks and the home runs.
Weeks down in the count 1-2. Ricky walked with the bases loaded in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3 tonight with an RBI. And he swings and misses. Down he goes on strikes. And Sebia secures it at first. Out number 1 for Casey Jansen. So 1 gone. Here is Maldonado. Casey Jansen, 30 years of age, getting a chance to close on a regular basis. Matter of fact, if he saves this game tonight, it'll be a new career high for him for saves. Came up as a starting pitcher with the Blue Jays. Hasn't pitched out of the bullpen, or in the starting rotation I should say, since 09. Maldonado, the lazy fly ball, shallow left field. Escobar's back. 2 outs. Now Ron Renicky will make a play here to try to get some power up there. Cody Ransom will hit. He'll pinch hit for Masonette. Taylor Green still available. Got the pitcher spot coming up next. So if Ransom can reach, then Taylor Green would have a chance to win it for Milwaukee.
Well, Ron Renicky feeling as though perhaps Ransom has a better chance of drawing a walk, maybe figuring out a way to get on base, and then you bring up Taylor Green to maybe get one out of here. Of course, Jansen's a guy that doesn't leave too many pitches up in the zone. He relies on sink, a variety of off-speed pitches. He's kept everything down so far in this inning.
So Cody Ransom announced. He has 5 home runs this season. 4 of those coming with the Diamondbacks. And his first homer as a Brewer came against the Twins on the last road trip. How about that? He's never had a hit against the Blue Jays. This will be a good time for his first. Law of averages. Casey Jansen has only allowed 2 earned runs over his last 17 2/3 innings. 2 earned runs in 18 games. Picked up his 6th save against the Phillies just 4 days ago. That was part of a sweep for the Blue Jays of the Phillies. On the ground and a base hit. Cody Ransom keeps the Brewers' hopes alive. There's the tying run aboard.
Yeah, Renicky looking for the bloop and the blast. Well, it's not a bloop, but it's a base hit. Bring the winning run to the plate.
Boy, and what a moment this would be.
Jansen that time left the slider up in the strike zone, and Ransom able to hit it hard up the middle. The last remaining bench player for Ron Renicky. Remember, they're playing short. Brooks Conrad is designated for assignment before the ball game to make room for tonight's starting pitcher.
Taylor Green, the Canadian, grew up a diehard Blue Jays fan. He's got a chance to beat him with one swing of the bat. Keep in mind, Green has 2 home runs this year, both of them in pinch hit appearances. He's been waiting for his big moment as a big leaguer. Those are the numbers. 2 for 9 off the bench. A long ball here. The Brewers win it. And he swings and rips it foul. And it's a ball and a strike. Well, every time the Blue Jays have scored in this series, the Brewers have had an answer. Can Green give him one more bolt? One ball, one strike on Green. And it's a strike, 1-2. Well, the outfield for the Blue Jays extremely deep. They're trying to cut off an extra base hit.
Yeah, trying to keep Cody Ransom from scoring on a double. Trying to get there quickly to cut down that tying run.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Taylor Green. Jansen deals it, and Green takes a ball. Close one.
Well, they wanted it away. He put it away and just missed the outside corner.
See what he does with him here. 2-2. Green fouls it away. Fastball upstairs. Green hanging tough. A British Columbia native, Taylor Green. Got a chance to be a hero tonight. Ransom at first, the tying run, and Jansen finally steps off. Green calls timeout.
Probably didn't like the pitch that they called.
Well, if Jansen goes to 3-2 on Green, that'd give Ransom a head start. Here he comes, and it's ball 3. And now there is a chance that Ransom could score on a base hit if it's tucked in the corner. John Farrell has seen his pitchers give it up every time the Blue Jays score. Full count, 2 outs. Ransom goes. Green pulls one, but the shift is on, and Johnson makes the play to end the ball game. So the Blue Jays get a hard-earned win here tonight as Jansen picks up his 7th save. And a 10-9 Toronto win. 6 home runs by the Blue Jays, 2 by Rasmus, 2 by Bautista. Much more still to come. We check in with Craig Kashawn. What do you have coming up on Brewers Live, Craig?
Well, this may be a tough one to get over, but the Brewers are going to have to do it in a hurry. They have an afternoon game to try to win this series tomorrow. We're going to hear from Ron Renneke, get inside the clubhouse as well, plus our instructional hitting that inside pitch when we come back.